Hey, I think we're live. Welcome everybody to the Pylon Show episode. I don't know. What is this? 53?
It's just actually a show match, because if we gave it a number like 53, it would throw off everything else in terms of the numbers and podcasts.
Everything. This is not the Pylon Show. This is just the Pylon Show host with the Pylon Show producer, sponsored by the Pylon Show Patreon, with the Pylon Show graphics. This is called the Grand Caster Showdown. So thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys coming out. I'm in control, and I'm joined as always by Mr. Artosis. Dan, how you doing, buddy?
Yo, I'm really good. This is kind of a fun way to shake things up.
Yeah.
I was sick of talking about Eric winning a bunch of tournaments, so you know what? Why don't we just cast a show match?
Exactly. Sick and tired of that Eric kid from Brazil and Korea right now. Doing pretty well. But I assure you guys at home, the regular Pylon Show will resume next week. We'll talk all about the Pizza Pie Weekly and the GSL and its happenings and goings. But as Dan alluded to, we do want to, each season, if you will, as a partner with Match Arena, we kind of want to break things up, do a show match, or do something fun. In the first season of sorts, we kind of did that that little thing we did with Base Trade TV, and that was really cool. And this time we're doing a show match.
It's more cool for you than for me, but
yeah.
I like this one because these are like our avatars.
Yeah.
You seem to think that Jim Rising is the strongest caster player, and I definitely think it's JYP. So
yeah,
we can kind of battle each other without battling each other here.
I think this one might go your way, though. Poor Jim Rising. He's been a really good sport. He was really easy and nice to schedule with, as far as I know. And he just took part in Twitch Rivals. He's a great guy. But he has a tough time with Protoss. It's every night I watch Puck stream or I tune in and like some of these European players come over. They're always battling Jim Rising, and I don't see him win a whole lot of them. And Jim Rising's very good, but he's got a well-known hate for Protoss. So we'll have to see if he can overcome that here in this kind of cross-server thing. But Dan, before we get to, we're going to start talking about sponsors, stuff like that. Actually, you know, we'll do that first, then I'll start talking about the show match. So,
okay.
As always, I do want to give our love and shout out to the people and the partners that make this possible. There is no code this week for Matcherino, so don't worry about that. But through Matcherino, you can buy merchandise. We had some lovely people buy some mugs, some shirts, and stuff like that, and we retweeted them, and just know that it's really cool to see that. That's just awesome. And if you happen to be going to Home Story Cup that's coming up, or BlizzCon at the end of the year, or any of these events, or if you go to the GSL where Dan and Nick are, please do wear that stuff. I guarantee you'll get some love and attention from these guys. And we really appreciate that you guys support us in that way. But the primary way to support us, and it's been really cool to see this grow, actually very recently it grew quite a bit, is going to be our Patreon, which is, of course, the lifeblood, if you will, of this show. It's how we make sure that this is a worthy endeavor in terms of profitability for the people that spend all the time making this happen, but also it's kind of a cool indicator towards the interest of this show, and it's been steady and awesome all of last year and this year. So just every week, I feel like a broken record, but I'm totally fine with that. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. 447 people, and that number grows, continue to say, I want more of the Pylon Show, and just thank you guys. We don't take that for granted.
That's great.
Yep. And then the other partner, of course, is our T partner, AFKT, Mr. Lycanthrope. Doing a new endeavor, or not, I can't even say new anymore. It's kind of been around for a couple years now at this point in time. And he's always been partnered with us. So just if you're a tea drinker of any kind, and you want to support the show, check it out. And there's a code there in the notes. But we advertise it every week and stuff like that, that you can save a little bit of money and also support the show and support one of our partners. So please do consider that. And that's it. So one of the things I want to start off with, Dan, is, you know, I know JYP very well. He's a former EG player, and he's a former professional StarCraft 2 player. But I think for a lot of these guys, they might not be as familiar with JYP. So why don't you talk a little bit about who he is, what he's up to, and how good is this guy?
Well, okay, so JYP, like you said, he was in EG. He traveled around the world quite a bit. He and Jaedong were flying around. And the thing is, when JYP first burst on the scene, he was looking like so talented. I remember one of the first games he played in GSL where he was doing this sick Prism play and just, he had some great strats and great builds. He never really busted through to the top level though.
Yeah.
Which is generally how it goes for a lot of casters, right? It's like you're like a pro and you're good and you're smart and everyone thinks that you could be really good, and then you don't do quite as well as you should have done.
Yeah.
And you become a caster. This is a story of many of us. But yeah, so
Well, most,
he
right? The
became,
vast majority.
yeah. And so JYP was very good. He was traveling around a lot, played in GSLs and everything. And for years now, he's been a caster for GSL on the Korean stream in Korea. And he's got, at this point, a huge fan following because he really puts everything he's got into analyzing the games, knowing what's going on. He, from what I understand, because obviously I'm casting in English, I'm not going to watch the Korean stream and try to figure it out. But from what I understand, he predicts pretty much everything spot on. Some of the players that have risen up, like he's friends with a lot of pros, of course, because he's been around forever. Like, for instance, people can remember when Leenox suddenly like tripled in skill one season. Leenox mentioned that JYP basically sat him down and told him all the things he needed to fix, and he did it, right? And then Leenox became a real force that season, made the round of 8 and stuff for the first time in forever. So JYP definitely knows what he's doing. For me personally, like I've played against JYP many times, and this is where I really thought, like, yeah, he'll beat JimRising. I can't beat him on a ladder. When I hit him, I'm like, hey, JYP. He's like, hi, Dan. And then he crushes me. But, he's just a very solid player, a nice guy, very, very friendly. I talk with him all the time at GSL and everything. Very smart and witty. But he's a bit nervous for the show match, actually.
Yeah.
He got excited when you and I have talked about this, like when Todd started putting together the caster matches.
It's fun.
Where it's like, oh, this is exciting. So he's been excited, but he's also for the last week or so been like, Dan, I'm nervous. I'm like, don't be nervous. What are you doing? You've been in GSL. It's fine. But he has actually today been up since 3 a.m. He was texting me at 4 a.m. asking about the map pool. And I'm just like, JYP, man, of course I'm not awake at that time. But he's a little bit nervous, but very excited.
That's really cool. I love hearing that. And that's kind of what this is part of, is we've always looking for ways to include community members and StarCraft people. And this is a fun idea that kind of spawned out of just like silly comments. And then, as well, I actually can't even remember. It's something like the winner's going to get $100 or $150 or something like that.
I think it was $150 and then $50 for the second place, I believe.
Okay. Is that what it is? I think that's what it is. So not life-changing
that's
money.
what I told JYP it is, so that's what it has to be.
Okay, there you have it. But just fun. Yep, 150 and 50. So just kind of fun way to put some of that money back in. But again, that money comes directly from the support of the show. So just thank you guys all so much. Whether you sub to Dan or Maya's channel, or you support us on Patreon, and even if you're just watching or commenting on YouTube, thank you guys. That makes this all possible. Quick introduction to JimRising, though I think we'll get this going. JimRising is a Latin American player, specifically from Mexico. He too is a professional player, and it's kind of funny. It's very similar kind of lineage to JYP in the sense that he's always been very good in that North American scene. But you've had Special down there, Calazur, Cham, like it's always had a very powerful player actually in that StarCraft 2 scene, so you don't hear about JimRising as much. So he did the smart thing and kind of went into being a caster / streamer, where he does very well for himself. He has good viewership and he plays every night, works really hard. But it just so happens to be on top of that North American ladder as well. He's a 6,000 or so MMR player. Very aggressive, swarmy Zerg, but he goes toe-to-toe with the best of the best in that Western Hemisphere, and he does so streaming in Spanish to a different audience from what we kind of typically talk about. So very cool, very fun. And you'll see JimRising in some of those Twitch rivals and stuff like that. So he's starting to kind of branch out and be a little bit more of a personality. Or if you watch M Canning, you'll see him a whole bunch on M Canning's channel as well. So that's who he is. And like I said, I jokingly talk about JimRising a lot because he's like a very good player, but he shows up in these caster things like Todd's caster invitation. I'm like, what the hell is this all about? He's way too good, and he should have gone to the finals, but he had an issue and wasn't able to fly out to Europe, so that was the only thing that held him back there. But that's where this comes from. So I was like, JimRising's the best caster. I think Dan said something like, no, JYP is, and JYP heard about it. And then on Twitter, it just became, it's not even like a big deal. There's no shit talk or anything like that. They're just like, I'll play, sure. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So here we are. So before we hit the start button on this, There will be no regular show. That's going to get asked, so please help us out in the chat. There's going to be people like, when are they getting to this topic? No topics. Maybe we'll do questions at the end. We'll see, but for the most part, this is a best of 5. Winner gets $150, loser gets 50. Dan and I are going to chill here and commentate it. I'm observing, and I am a garbage tier observer, so I apologize in advance, but you're just going to have to deal with that. And then, you know, I'm anticipating some weird snafu, but we'll do the best we can. And let's just keep it loose, let's keep it fun, and let's have a good time. And then we'll get back to our regular show next week. And then from then on, we'll, you know, find out what other fun thing we do for the 3rd season, and we'll proceed. So just thank you guys for making this possible. We make sure these guys are ready to go, and we will go.
All right. Ooh, I'm a little bit nervous now too because I've been talking up JYP.
Well, it's kind of a question mark, right? Like, we don't get to see him play at all. I see JimRising play a lot, but like I said, he loses to Protoss a lot.
Yeah. And this is the Korean variety of Protoss. I have
Cobra,
no doubt
will
we're going to see some Immortal Sentry pushes.
Yeah. So this will be weird for Cobra. He's used to taking over the mouse, but he actually can't while I'm observing.
I let go of it. It's all you, buddy.
Matt, you go back and... He says he let go of it, but now it's on the other screen. Matt, what are we doing here, bud? All right. Oh, yeah, and the overlay, too. Okay. Dan, I guess we have to do this, otherwise... Oh, it's the wrong server? Do you guys not do US West?
It's... I don't know what server it's on right now. You have to change that, though, in the options.
Matt, did you not do servers at all?
I thought it was set. We can reset it too. And Nathan?
Let me ask him. You can't grab the mouse, Matt. So we'll find out what the ping is, and if it's too bad, then we can host on US West. This is that jankiness we were talking about, guys. 230 is pretty bad, right?
Yeah, 230 is pretty bad. Korea to NA, like US West, I normally get like 190 to 200.
Yeah, we'll rehost.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
That is our first janky moment, you guys.
First of many.
Yeah, well, hopefully. So this is a, you know, you'll have to walk me through this. We can see it on screen. I know how to switch to Americas, but how do you switch specifically to US West? Or would it auto-host US West because I'm on the West?
No. So, yeah, well, I don't know what it auto does, but there is a way to actually just choose your server. Hold on,
you don't know,
this in a bit. Okay, so
options. I'm being told.
Language and region.
Language
in options.
And region.
Go to options.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Language and regions. And you go down. Okay, so it shows Singapore 125 for me right now, but just choose Western United States.
So if I choose it there, though, do I have to select the Americas on this, or no? We're good.
You're already on America server, right?
I should be, but Matt had the computer before this, and Matt, what'd you do?
No, that should be good. If you just host from here, it should be all right.
Okay. And then what was the map?
Kings Cove.
But even custom's weird for me. I never host custom. Do you host in custom or?
Yeah, custom.
Okay.
Melee, I believe, and then from there.
All melee. But then it doesn't bring anything up. I know I misspelled it, but. Oh, this melee. Got it. Hopefully this brings it up. No.
So if you just
type
right in,
there.
right there. Just type in Kings.
No, I got it.
Or yes.
And then create with mod. Or create lobby.
I think just create lobby, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not an observer.
You guys are watching this. We never make lobby, so the mod might be the overlay, actually.
Could be.
This is great. We're off to a wonderful start here.
Well, this is always a funny thing that
if you want game art, we gotta do it with the mod.
Yep, it is with mod. Okay. Never mind. Create with mod.
Oh wait, did you leave?
Yeah, because we didn't have the fucking game heart.
All right. There isn't. Yeah. Well, actually, I want to say there isn't a caster that knows how to create lobbies, but there's definitely some that know how to create lobbies. But I can definitely name a few that don't know how to create lobbies, and that includes me and Jeff.
Oh, it's all of us, yeah. Matt, bless his soul, did the best he could, so we appreciate it. This is actually more complicated than it ever should be. I sent you guys invites, I think.
Yeah, you got my invite.
And then we should be good to go now.
Do you see this virtue signaling Maynard in the chat?
Is he doing it?
We all know how to create lobbies.
Dude, most of us know how to make
This is
lobbies.
Mr. Lobby Man over here.
You have to know how to make a lobby because you're in Australia. What else can you do? And now Matt's taking over the mouse again to make him a spectator. Okay.
Tosis doesn't make his own lobbies, guys.
Yeah, you've been downgraded. Now he's back to referee.
No, he was
The only thing I know how to do is to turn on the production tab and the unit tab. That's it.
Okay, so Jim Rising not accepting the invite just yet. This would be the quickest show match ever. We just have him not come, and then we just give $150. Jim's taking a quick siesta, guys. My bad.
Invite to game. This player's already been invited to the game.
Yep, literally sent 2 invites here. He's even on my friends list, so he actually could just join through that too. So he's gonna rejoin. Chat, how you guys doing? Oh my god.
Yeah. This is a great start.
No, he's not dodging.
It's a great start.
This is a classic bug, actually. Sometimes, for whatever reason, someone just won't be able to join.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, send another invite. I'd like to tell him he's
There
just on
we
my friends
go.
list. Oh my god, okay. I'm glad you get, Thank you, chat, for remaining positive. Everybody except for Maynard was really loving and supportive there. Thank you, guys. All right. The Redux. I'm not reading your comments somewhere, Maynard. It's just going to be D and Control-N. And you guys are going to freak out about the score and stuff. I don't even know how to do that. You know how to do that,
Don't even
Dan?
care. Score?
Yeah, this
It's
thing.
like, yeah, actually, you press like Shift and 1 or,
Yeah, exactly. So you know as much as I do. You're like, you press Shift and 1 or something. I'm like, yeah, okay. So that's the two of us.
This looks a lot better this time. This is a lot better connection.
All right. Dan, give us one of those
Yo.
GSL introductions, please.
All right. Well, nowadays, Nick and I stay quiet, and there's a voice that does it for us. So we sit there, and we're like, just looking at each other, and you can hear us breathing like this. And then, like, if it's a player I like, it's more like this.
I like it.
Well, yes, we have JYP in the top left. That is the Artosis Protoss there, one that I am rooting for. And then the bottom right, we have Jim Rising. Yeah. Let's see what skins. Look at this, Jim Rising with all his skins. JYP just playing like it's a GSL match.
Yeah, no skins. Do they still not let that? Yeah, they don't let that in the GSL, do they?
Yeah, we don't.
WCS let them in, my man.
Though. Good though. Yeah, it looks better. I like it.
Yeah.
Do they let every skin in WCS though? Like, can you use the ones where the Banelings and Zerglings
I don't
look the
think
same?
so, but it's like some
Stalkers
weird. Yeah. Once you get pro gamers talking about skins, it's the stupidest conversation you've ever seen in your life. They're like, this skin, I can't tell.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we got a... JYP's always been a bit of a weird player.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a 1-gate expand, but with a forge already, which...
Yeah.
Here we go. He's doing it. He knows how to play Protoss.
Yeah. Look at this guy. He's dirty.
Yeah. Jim doesn't know yet.
I like how he's like, yeah, I'm nervous about this, and then he just came and rushes in game 1. I love it.
He's only got the one probe, too.
Yeah, he doesn't need a second one. Screw it.
Well, yeah, it's just scary. And this is going to turn into a full-on robo and stuff on high ground. There it is. Yeah, it's a really fast robo.
That's exactly what it is. He needs those shield batteries and everything.
You can actually do it off of one gas. Now, one thing that makes me nervous here, there's no pro building a cannon at the wall, or excuse me, at his wall. Now, that's like, that's okay-ish, but as time goes on, if that becomes a mistake, you know, it gets kind of weird. So there's a zealot being made over there.
Yeah. So I think he'll be all right. And actually, the Zerglings, okay, 2 of them going to stay on the map.
Yeah, Jim's not going for it, but his Overlord clearly sees, like, it's just going to be a zealot there for now.
Woo! You got to keep that probe alive, too, by the way.
Yes.
If you're going robo.
Especially with just
that
the
little
one
guy has to make a lot of shield batteries if you're going to win this game.
And no high ground for JYP just yet. And the Queen and Spinecrawler make this really tough. So the creep actually blocks him from making any shield batteries.
Yeah.
This high ground's a huge deal. Because this rush... Oh, he goes after the probe! No. Now the Lings are going across the map, by the way. But that's when the Adepts are made.
Before Jim Rising can actually clear everything, this Immortal's just going to walk up the ramp and start killing stuff.
Yeah, but he has no line of sight otherwise. So
he doesn't have the cannon at home still.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All of this is bad. Now, an Adept is coming out.
Oh my god.
But he has no high ground spotting, so this...
Does he not have a chrono? He does have a chrono. Why isn't he chronoing? These Lings are going to screw him up.
He just gets in, and he gets a surround.
God.
JYP.
Oh my god.
He's not making anything else. Okay, there's the next Adept.
Oh, I think you're supposed to target that Pylon, by the way.
Shield battery's about to finish. Warp Prism comes out for the Immortal, and that's actually good news for him. Because it's only Lings right now, and Lings are a pretty poor answer for this. Oh, he's making Banelings. Oh my god. Damn.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because he has 3 Lings? Yeah. Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
Oh, this is a crazy game right now.
Yeah.
Who even cares about Bly versus Neve? The Grandcaster Showdown has everything.
JOP doesn't know. He's microing on the other side of the map. Oh, the one kills. Oh, 7 probes.
Jeez.
But now it's 2 Immortals, no Warp Prism. And it's just Lings on the other side. This is still a doable game for JYP, believe it or not.
Yeah, no, I think he's actually just got it, to be honest. Here, let me go watch a tasteless commentary real quick. Yep, these 2 Immortals in this prism will kill everything.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
GG.
Wow. Well, that game was weird. A little bit, I wouldn't even say sloppy, because it looked like JOP actually started building the Adept when the Lings started leaving to go to his half of the map. So it's just like kind of playing by the seat of your pants there. Not having the shield batteries made it worrisome for a second. But pretty much the second the Warp Prism came out and then any shield batteries at all finished, he's got to mess up huge to lose to Lings.
Yeah. Well, I like the idea of the Banelings to kill the probes, but you're never going to hold on against the Immortals.
Yeah.
Next map, by the way, is Cyber Forest.
Yep. See that right here? I am now a professional lobby maker.
What if JYP just 3-0s with Cannon Rush Immortal and the show match sucks? What if that happens?
I loved, you guys were joking a lot about this. It was so funny. Who was it? Hero versus one of these nights in the GSL. It wasn't last night, I think. It was the night before, but you guys were so funny about like that. This is the game I would show to my friends and be like, this is StarCraft, dude. Come on, check it out. It was so bad.
Oh, I remember the joke happening. I can't remember which game it was, but it was like the stupidest.
Yeah.
Just like the rush gets held and the game is over. Maybe it was like the Gumio game where he proxied through your axis and it was on that Turbo Cruise map, and drones killed the SCVs, making the 2 of the 3 barracks. And then we cut to the center and it showed SCVs getting slowed down by the green orbs. And then Gumio just GG'd, and that was it. It was so bad.
Gumio versus Sue, that's right. It was like a 15-minute best of 3. It was just the dumbest series ever. It's like, all right.
Yeah. Gumio's like, oh, I might make round of 8. Nope. Oh my god.
That's StarCraft. Sometimes you'll just have a game or series, and you're like, well, that was forgettable. All right, so I'm going to try the score thing. I'm told it's Control 1. And that is it. I did it. Can I get some round of applause in the chat, please? Some upvotes there.
Oh, you did good.
Yeah, I just nailed it.
That.
Basically, I don't want to. I'm gonna say it. I'm a better lobby host and just general tournament runner than Maynard. I think that's actually what we can kind of take away from this.
Well, it seems pretty clear to me.
Yeah, I feel like that's the case.
Yeah, especially after he was talking so much smack.
Wow.
Well,
hang on, referee is coming. So many lagging. Yeah, okay, we can wait.
What? Didn't look like it at all.
We're sending an admin right now, you guys. Matt is en route from South Carolina over to Korea. Okay.
Well, it's South Korea, right? So it's probably close by.
Yeah, they're very close. Both Southern Hemisphere. You're right.
Almost there.
Matt's on his way. He's going to run there. I like when someone says go, go, and then doesn't. Wow. 2 countdowns.
And the XD, of course.
The language barrier is please go. What? Oh, because he's not a referee. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know, man. That's you. Anyways, here's the introduction, you guys. This is how we do it in the WCS. Okay, lower right-hand side. From Mexico, named after Earthworm Jim, it's Jim Rising.
Is that actually where his name comes from?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
By the way, JYP's going to do the exact same thing, I think. Top left-hand side. One time, rooming with In Control at Home Story Cup, he leaned over and showed me a picture of a girl and mumbled, "So pretty." It's JYP. That's a true story.
I love it.
We were in that terrible, at Home Story Cup, terrible hotel, the
Ibis?
Yes, Ibis.
Yes.
Thank you. Budget
That
Ibis.
is the worst. That hotel has a bathroom that is one piece of plastic.
Yeah.
All
It's a
the
tube.
walls, everything. It's like they manufactured this one piece of plastic so that it could be hosed down from whatever dirty things happen in
Whatever
this cheap
happens in there.
hotel. It's so gross.
When you close yourself in there, this is what I do. I say a quiet little prayer. I'm like, please open after this.
Yeah.
Because it is just a plastic tube that you take a shower in. If that door doesn't open, you are in a plastic tube, my dude.
Yeah.
You are a human.
And no one can come to help you because even getting your key at that hotel,
oh yeah,
you got to like go type in on like a machine or
all
something,
robots.
like a code. Oh, it's just that Ibis Motel is the worst thing I've ever stayed in.
It was amazing. Never felt more like I was being human trafficked in my entire life than in that moment. All right, so JYP is doing something different here. It's gonna be kind of classic one-gate expand. Put the Fear of God in Jim Rising with that cannon rush followed by the Immortal.
It's got to play more carefully now.
And Jim Rising is a big fan of Roach Ravager. And kind of a... It's interesting, too, because I'm not saying this to be mean, but when a player is kind of mentally defeated in a matchup, we kind of saw this in Twitch Rivals. M. Canning had to play Jim Rising. And M. Canning found himself in a really bad spot, but he was on chat with us, and he was kind of like, hey, don't worry, the later this game goes, the more Jim Rising kind of flounders. And it was true. It got to a weird point where Carrier started coming out, and Storm is there, and Jim Rising kind of felt a little bit lost. So it'll be interesting to see if he can kind
So he's kind of an early mid-game player?
But not even like an all-in cheesy dirty player. He's really not. It's more of a like, the longer the game goes, the more frustrated he gets with Protoss, you can kind of feel.
Well, this game I don't think is going to go that long because JYP made his robo awfully quickly.
Yeah.
So he was telling me he was nervous about Jim Rising, and I'm like, no, you're fine.
Yeah.
Just do a mortal push. He's like, yeah, that's it.
This is the new cheese that Protoss is doing these days.
Yeah, this is like almost every PvZ in Korea right now is some sort of a mortal push that comes out very quickly. But Jim Rising's getting that Overlord speed, so he's going to be able to scout it at least.
Yeah, and he's already got that PV Overlord looking at his natural too and sees kind of all the fixings. Check his vision here. He doesn't see the gas, but he doesn't see probes bringing the gas in. And now he's going to see this. I mean, there's no stopping this. Well,
Yeah, there's actually an Overlord that flew in.
I guess the only stopping would be him stopping himself.
All right, he knows exactly what's up at the moment. He has this Roach run coming down. Let's check here.
Oh, he sees the
37
Warp Prism. He's
drones.
shadowing at mid-map. Not a lot of gateways from our Protoss player, though, right? It's only 2 gateways.
No, yeah. He's adding a third gas right now.
So this is a bit of a feint. I think the Immortal that's coming out behind this will be a part of, like, the second wave, right?
Yeah, like right now it looks to me like he wants to take a third base. So I feel like he would have added the gates by now.
Oh man, if he targets that.
Or maybe he's just because he's microing so heavily or something, but he takes a lot of damage on the Prism even.
Yeah, well here's the additional gateways and a second Immortal coming out. So I think this is
he's going for it.
Yeah, it was meant to buy some time here. But I like this defense from JimRising so far.
Yeah, and if he can just push the creep a little bit more. I mean, normally Zergs don't take this as the third here. Normally it's that high ground base. That's kind of interesting.
And I'll tell you what, when you see a fast robo and you already see 4 sentries behind that, I'd be really shocked if JimRising doesn't know what's happening. So if we see any drones on this production tab, I'll be very disappointed.
Yeah.
It should just be pure units now.
Yeah, yeah.
Forever.
I've liked the Ling Ravager stuff that we've been seeing.
Yeah.
And that's basically what he's doing. Yeah, look at this. Lots of Ling production. Making those roaches.
Yeah. What do you think about a Baneling Nest here? Do you like that or no? Just keep it Lings.
I think if it's like 3 gases, you skip it. If it's 2 gases, you can do it. It's just like sentries are so good against Banelings.
I
like you run up with your slow ass Banelings, and then force fields come up and they all pop.
Ooh,
but that is a lot of sentries.
Ooh. You want to kind of try to bait out some force fields, but it's got to be careful about committing to it. He's not getting any. JYP being very cagey with that. That's good. No Ravagers yet, by the way. Is he just going to do it with Roaches? Because that doesn't seem...
Yeah, I guess so.
No, that's not going to work.
If he had a flank setup... Well, I guess he does have a flank setup, to be fair.
Pretty
yeah,
weak
he does
one.
have that group of Lings up there.
Oh, he's going to go for it.
Ooh.
Okay, that's okay. 5 force fields. I mean, it's unfortunately he lost the Roaches that way. I don't like this flank, though. It's just pure Lings. That gets blocked off pretty easy, and it's very soft.
I think he's got to pull his queens up now. Like, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
If only he had, like, a Ravager.
Ooh. Baits a lot of force fields there, so the energy on the sentries is quite low. Still a lot of units here for Protoss, though.
It is a ridiculous amount.
But you can see that lack of force fields.
Oh, that Zealot warping is so good.
The Immortals, man, they're doing so much work.
Yeah, they are.
And with the Warp Person, they should just never die. Jim's having a great time.
I think he's already broken him, man.
Yeah, this is a great showmatch so far.
Ooh.
Wow!
Ooh.
Okay. This is going to be about a 1-hour episode of the Pylon Show, and 30 of that was trying to make this lobby.
yeah, 30 minutes getting game 1 going, getting the right server on.
Okay, we're off to Kairos here.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't make some Ravagers to go with that. Like, I feel like you really need them for so many reasons. You can zone the Prism back, you can bust those force fields. Yeah. Protoss Army gets super clumped up in these situations, so you can actually land some biles from time to time, especially in an area like that. Like, just going Ling Roach, like, the thing is he droned to the right amount. I liked his Overlord speed. There was a lot of good things.
Yeah.
But just the unit comp in general, I feel like you do need 3-4 Ravagers in there at least. And
it's a very tough, very sharp timing to try to defend, and if you don't do the little things, it can look really one-sided. So, like, even his creep spread probably needed to be a couple tumors further forward, because, like, that flank was constantly hitting off creep. Just the top of that kind of high ground was not there.
Yeah.
And it might sound like nitpicking, but, like, literally with these kind of timing attacks, that is the difference.
Yeah, like the Immortal pushes in general right now are really hard to stop. That's like what I've No Regret and I have done on a couple in-depths recently, is just really looking closely at and it always comes down to really tiny stuff that decides if the Immortal push wins.
Even doing things like perhaps threatening the counterattack with those Lings just to get that army to come back a little bit more, gets you a couple cycles. It's tough. It's very, very tough. So I don't want to make it sound like it's very obvious that JimRising fell on his face and died there. It's just, no. So how do you do... Ooh. No, that's not it. How do I do a JYP score? Maynard in the chat. Shift JYP.
Control. Yeah.
Nailed it. Thank you, Maynard. Maynard. All right.
He's trying to make amends for all that trash.
He is. He feels bad about it. It is a show match, so we'll just do this thing that everyone does. In the top left-hand side, still from Mexico, still the Zerg player, it's JimRising. Chat, if you can guys type some claps in there or something like that, please. We can have a live audience kind of feel to this. That'd be great. Otherwise, it just feels like, you know, I'm saying this and then Dan breathes huskily into the mic and just Matt quietly is, you know, watching. Yes. All of this is going according to plan. Lower right-hand side. What's another funny story about JYP? I can't remember any. It's the blue Protoss from South Korea, Jip. That's where someone goes, it's not Jip, it's JYP.
Here's a little fun fact about JYP. He's got a beautiful singing voice.
He does, actually, yeah.
He really actually does. He has sung at weddings of some of his friends and stuff in Korea. That's actually kind of a common thing. If you have some friends that are good at singing, just have them sing a song. Korean weddings are really cool and fun. But
I was just gonna say, in Korea.
Yeah.
Someone's like, Jeff, can you sing at my wedding? I'd be like, fuck no, dude. For a million years.
No, I've been to a lot of Korean weddings, and it's very, very often it's just like someone you know is up there. I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know you were so good at singing. That's sick.
Yeah. JimRising gonna try and do the same thing here. JYP scouts out just a normal expansion and gas for our Zerg player.
You see that pylon behind his behind JYP's natural nexus? This is where Classic hides all of his buildings. It's
really?
like the last place any Zerg ever scouts.
It's beginning.
Yeah. If he throws down that Immortal, I tell you. Or the Robo, rather.
Yeah. Which is all the rage right now. So funny. Fast Robo. Sentry first off the gateway as well, so not going to be any adept harass. Here comes that probe. Ba-bump. And it is...
Let's see it.
Yeah.
The Robo. Wow, JYP really needs that money, man. He really needs it.
This poor guy. JimRising with a little bit of larva saved up here, by the way. A little bit supply blocked, actually. Supply blocked-ish. Second gateway, so it will be that kind of robo cheese. And what's some of the variations we see out of that, Dan? Like, what are people doing with this?
So there's actually so many variations of the robo push, which is why it's so hard for Zerg. If it was just one push, like that push JYP just did, if that was the only one and everyone was doing that one, like back when the Soul Train was the thing with parting, that's what it was. There was one push, it was a certain amount of Immortals, a certain amount of Sentries, and you knew what it was, and you could possibly stop it. Right now, though, it's like there's every build in the world. You can do it with Charge, you can do it with Glaives. You can do it with Sentries, you can do it without Sentries. You can do it with 1 Immortal, 2 Immortals, 3 Immortals, 4 Immortals, or 5 Immortals. Like, all those things make huge differences in the time that it moves out and its relative power and the exact comp and where you want to engage it. So it's like,
Dan,
it's really the bane of Zergs at the moment. It's got a huge win rate.
He's not even building probes. He's stuck. He's at 12 out of 16 probes is natural. He's chrono boosting out 1 Immortal. He's walked out Sentries. This is all getting scouted, but this hits so fast. And I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
For JimRising, unfortunately, things like Speed Overlords, that's in the wind. It's garbage. That goes against his ability to defend. The third, any amount, he's building 4 drones right now, that's probably the wrong call. This attack is very different. He's getting hit right now.
That is the thing, right? And this is the problem a lot of people cite when you say get Overlord speed to scout it, because if it's like the quickest push, you're getting in there just in time to see that you're about to be attacked.
Yeah.
And it's pretty tough. He has started his units. It's only 1 Immortal. So, you know, it's so much faster than that last game.
Yeah.
But it's only 1 Immortal. So, you know, I think in some ways it's much more holdable. And he's got good creep spread so far.
Yes, good creep spread. I like the Lings. They get one kind of, you know, they got 1 warping back there. It is just roaches. There's a couple Ravagers being made, but just a couple. Creep spread is lacking between the natural and third, but that shouldn't be the biggest of deals. And he does have the Queens here, which was something you called out for last game that was missing.
Well, a bunch of these roaches about to pop out here. Okay, he has that Ravager to put down the force field. JYP's being really careful with his force fields right now. Oh, some very good ones going down. Look at those roaches.
Yeah.
But look at this.
The teeth of the list is kind of gone, though. The Zealots were a big deal. Now the Sentries die. The Immortal's getting shot here. It does get pulled back by that Warp Prism a lot. The Queens are at one shot. Ugh.
Yeah.
More roaches about to pop.
He needs to pull a bit more. I feel like he just needs his drones down here right now, but they're so far away.
I think he's going to hold. Nails the Warp Prism.
Yeah, yeah.
Queen targeting the Warp Prism.
The stalkers.
Getting low. Ooh. Queen. Yeah, he held.
All right. There we go.
Guys, we're going to see a fourth game. I can almost feel it.
We got ourselves a series. And the fourth and fifth maps are the fun ones, so.
He's going to recall back. He's going to try to harass with this Warp Prism. You know what? Couple of nice little points here. JimRising delayed the lair. He's just now starting it now that the defense has been had. His drone count wasn't too terribly high. He went up to 44, which is about the right number.
Wow, yeah. I mean, the counterattack is looking really good. He's only got one Immortal sitting here at home, so...
Yeah. The Warp Prism, where did it go? What is it doing?
It is in the center of the map, hunting Overlords. You know, I wonder, because that was such a quick one, I was worried maybe that Overlord speed cost too much, but to be honest, he saw that it was, you know, just the simple one Immortal push. And if it's one Immortal, you're not that worried about roaches dying, right? So you can just make lots of roaches, as opposed to some of these other pushes where it's like, oh, should I be going Ling Ravager? Well, that was actually a really good hold by Jim.
It was. And it pushed the boundaries, too. Like, I felt like there's a few things too much over, but it ended up being just right, so well done by Jim.
Yeah, yeah. It felt like for a moment it might not work out for JimRising, but there was no more force fields, and you started to really connect.
Now,
but JYP is gearing up for number 2.
Right, no, that's exactly it, right? You don't really go anywhere else with that push except for back at him again.
Yeah, there is not a transition from that push. You can go over across the map and lose all of your units that you made with all of your money for the entirety of the game. Yeah, you're going again. But JimRising's making so many units right now. I think he droned up like basically perfectly. He's getting his roach speed, Ravagers, Roaches, Lings. It's hard to imagine this push working.
Yeah, he only got 10 more workers, which is about what you're allotted after holding. Now he's got a lot more Ravagers, which can be problematic for all the force fields. It's kind of where they fall off. JimRising, just to make sure, has Overlords at each of the third base locations for JYP, so it's just been units for days. And JYP's going to pull back, but a couple things that when you do this kind of thing, like it's just more Immortals coming out, so we know it's going to keep happening. But even if he was like, you know what, let's take a third. There's no Twilight Council, there's no Forge, there's no continuation in tech. More energy on your sentries is diminishing returns. Like the difference between like 10 force fields and 15 is not that big of a deal. So he's just sitting.
You know what?
Here.
The one thing that could be interesting is if JYP, like right now, it doesn't feel like he can push, right? But what if he maxes out? Right? I mean, it's stupid, but I remember seeing that back in the day a couple times. Ooh, nice catch in the center here. But I mean, maybe that's the way to do it because, you know, Roaches and Ravagers and Lings aren't going to scale very well. So the larger your supply gets, the better chance you probably have as JYP, even though Jim definitely has the advantage.
Unless, like, 2 Lurkers show up. I mean, that's way out there. It's just that...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is going to be the
if
fight.
Any more tech, really... Look how many Ravagers he made. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. The Corrosive Biles. The Corrosive Biles!
Oh!
Some connections, actually. Mostly on force fields, to be honest with you. The problem with this is that JimRising is going to trade here, and it's him that can afford this. And you're seeing that reflected in the supply. Like, every time he steps forward, sentries die for free. The Immortals were the teeth of this. One died, one's low. And JimRising's not done. He's pushing forward here. He's going to get on top of this force. The sentry count's nothing. And JYP is going to tap out in a second here. I can feel the tasteless GG. It's coming up from my bowels to my chest.
That's all tasteless GGs I want to do.
There it is. JimRising's on that scoreboard, which means I'm going to have to use both Control and Shift, which I recently learned how to do.
Be careful about that. Don't want you to mess everything up.
No, of course
not. I think Thunderbird is our next map, right?
Turbo.
Oh, is it Turbo Cruise next?
Turbo Cruise 84.
Excellent. I can't wait to see the Immortal Push go through there.
We contemplated using 83.
Pretty good against that, wouldn't it?
I mean, yeah, it's going to be the cannon rush. Like, it seems like JYP's got kind of an idea of how he wants to play.
Yeah. By the way, so far we've had Turbo Cruise a couple times in GSL now. So far the games have been really bad on it, but
nice.
I'm still holding my breath.
Get these guys in here. Jim Rising beat JYP so bad that he actually logged off, which is just pretty incredible.
Damn. JYP hurting.
Yeah, I don't know what the protocol is for JYP literally just not existing on Battle.net right now, but that is the case. Oh. You want to head over to his house or something like that, or?
I don't actually know where he lives, and it's definitely not near me.
So I'll just tell Jim, 1 second, you beat JYP so hard he logged off.
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Okay, good. Probably like gave his account over to Classic or something like that. It's like
he called Classic. He's like, I can't do this, man. You got to do this for me. Classic's like, JYP, man, it's too early. Why are you calling me?
Win it for me. All right, and they're ready.
It's time.
So why do you think the games have been kind of bad on this map? Is it just that it's so weird that players are doing weird stuff on it?
Yeah, no one's really utilized the map super well yet, I think. Like there's been some cheesiness on it basically, and that's it. Like we had the Gumiho game where his proxy axes just got found and he didn't even build them in the green circle. So I'm like, come on, you got to use the map. And then like Special just died to 7 Phoenixes last night on it. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it was too bad. It came close though, right? Came 1 map away from making the top 8.
Oh, I know. It was really a heartbreaker, actually.
But instead, it's 2 Protoss.
Love to see him make further.
Isn't it like 6 Protoss qualified so far?
Right now, it is 5 Protoss, 1 Zerg in the round of 8. And dude, the KSL bracket right now, I do KSL tonight and tomorrow night. Top 4 is all Protoss. So I'm like living through this fever dream of only casting PvP in both StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2. Like for the rest of the month, basically.
At least PvP in StarCraft Brood War is really good. In StarCraft 2, Korean PvP is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, it's so dumb.
It is so bad. I can't even... I'm in so much shock that it is only proxying buildings. How can that be the only thing that we do in Korea with PvP?
It's weird.
Yeah.
And every Protoss player goes into it dead-eyed, too. And they're like, what do you think about this match? I'm like, well, if they find my buildings, I'm in trouble. I was like, oh, my God.
I got to find their buildings, too. Last night, we had a PvP where they proxy their buildings exactly out of vision range of each other. And an Oracle and an Immortal popped down. Eventually, the Immortal scouted the Stargate. It was like, I'm just sitting there like, is this real? Is this is a matchup, a professional matchup here?
That's so silly. Well, JimRising's shaking things up. We went with an early pool. It does get scouted here, and a Zealot's going to be popping out. This will be a full wall off for that second gateway. But even just this opening kind of ends up delaying the Nexus. Like, he's chrono boosting out the Zealot. Might even opt for a second Zealot, because if these lanes start to get fancy around with the buildings, the Zealot could find itself in trouble. Actually, I'm just going to go right for the Zealot.
You know, I don't like these early gasless pools that much.
Okay.
Because I feel like if JYP simply goes into a couple of depths, I've been talking about this as we've seen more of this build pop up, but like if you just make 2 adepts, the lings are slow.
Yeah.
You can force a lot of drone kills.
Yeah.
Because you do the double volley and they don't have time to make a spore or anything. You just don't know which one they're going to target.
All right.
You watch this. He's going to chrono these out and send them across the map, and it's going to be hard for Jim Rising to hold on against that.
Yeah, I mean, we can see this too with the gasless like you're talking about. Like, it would just be queens and lings on creep to try to defend against those adepts. Not the greatest. The slowdown circles do slow down absolutely everything, even shades, though, which is kind of funny. So they wouldn't like get there lightning quick, necessarily.
It's just, with those slow lings, like, what I've seen a lot of times in these situations is the 2 adepts come in, and they get, like, 5 drones, 6 drones, even more sometimes if the Zerg is not really on top of blocking it. And then if you just do a really sharp immortal push, you had to drone so much extra that it's really hard to hold on. Because right now it's like, it's so close to holding on each time.
Well, the first
he's actually going Stargate.
Yeah. He's pushing across. You can see there's no third here. JimRising has the stuff to defend, so I'm not too worried about 5 or 6 drones dying. It's more of a, like, does he overinvest kind of question here.
I'm just happy that we're seeing something that is not an immortal push.
Yeah.
Or Cannon Rush, which was also an immortal push.
Twilight Council behind that. That's a very JYP thing to do. Like, immediately Dark Shrine.
Oh, is that what it's going to be, do you think?
Well, it's JYP, so that's my prediction, but...
Huh. Yeah, no, it could be. I don't even remember ever seeing a build like that. Oh, you know what it could be, though? This could be a charge all-in. If he just gets a Phoenix and charge instantly, I bet you that's what it is.
I hope so. I'd hate if this game went the distance, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing yet. I just want to show
This
it.
is where you throw down the fake Dark Shrine. Oh, he doesn't have the money. Oh, Glaives. Okay.
Glaive, okay. Cancels the Phoenix once it's out of range, the Overlord here.
Mm-hmm. I think that JimRising can kind of catch on to what's going on. You never see a Twilight made it like the same time as the Stargate.
Yeah, no, that's that. And JYP's already cheesed the crap out of him for the other 4 games, so it's like we're 3 games out.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to catch on a little bit.
Yeah. It's funny because JimRising's supposed to be the cheesy one, right? The NA player. JYP, a commentator, you'd think he'd play in a virtuous manner, but no.
Well, that's the funny thing that's always said about Korea. But Korea's, maybe it's moved away from it back when I played on Korea, though, but it was the cheesier server, actually.
It's pretty cheesy.
NA is bad. There's no question about it.
Like, too.
Yeah. Watching your stream when you play Brood War, you start getting messages in Korean. It's like, he's probably not saying nice things like, I like your commentary.
No, it's certainly not.
Okay, so we'll get scouted. You can see that amount of adepts should suggest that this is a committed timing attack. Speed's about to finish, though, and it does get scouted across the map, which is great news for JimRising. Maybe JYP pulls back, actually. Second Robo. No, first Robo, excuse me.
Yeah, you can do the Glaives push into an Immortal push, and it's really, really strong. But the fact that these Lings kept the Adepts back for that long, like, these Adepts should already be up there messing up drones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is something JimRising implemented after that first game that kind of went or second game that went disastrous. You started poking the Lings again and getting the information, but also slowing down these pushes. Because now the Adepts are going across the map, but nothing's changed except that JimRising has had more time to prepare.
Yeah, and he's really stomping. You can see him utilize those green blobs, too.
Yeah.
The Adepts having a hard time running away.
I always think this is weird. Like, let's think about the synergy of this build. I know it's strong in potential, and it can kind of mess up the timings, but at face value, it's a... I paid for Glaives, I paid for these Adepts off a 2-base low economy. I'm triggering the Zerg to make a lot of defenses, and then I followed up with an actual attack, and it's like... It's kind of kicking the bee's nest, isn't it? Like...
Yeah, I think if you do it in a very prolonged manner, like he has 4 gases, so he can go for lots of sentries, then I think you're just trying to abuse like a low drone count from early on in the game. But I feel like JimRising actually has basically defended perfectly and droned perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, he's really healthy on Econ right now. Like, he's going to have over 50 drones. He didn't really lose any to the Glaives, and that's like part of the push. You're supposed to at least get some.
And he's got these Lings here, and right now, so they see Immortal, they see a whole grip of sentries. He knows what's happening. And I have a tough time seeing this work. Another drone gets started up for Jim, so that's a little bit worrisome, but just one, so not the biggest of deals.
Yeah. No, his drone count seems very solid. It is a lot of sentries, but you can do things like sit around... look, he's got a ramp up to the 3rd, and you can kind of hold that high ground, and there's creep there.
Yeah.
And you can't come through the green, because I feel like that's just where Biles will destroy you. But JimRising has a great unit set. Look at this.
Yeah, a lot of Ravagers time.
This looks fantastic for Jim.
Baits out the Guardian Shield, sitting at the top. Good creep spread, like you pointed out. This is the army. It's marching back and forth on that creep. It's spotted very plainly. And once again, we begin the dance of Corrosive Biles.
Now, this game, I think that JYP could transition into a third. It's not like a great situation, but I think attacking in further is much worse.
He's going to transition into a GG, my dude.
Yeah, I think you might be right. This is a great catch.
Yep. JimRising smell blood in the water, and we're heading to game 5 if JYP can't get the heck out of dodge. He's going to recall. It's going to cost him at least a century. Ends up costing him 4. There is a Warp Prism spawning some dudes up in the main base here, and that's going to be problematic. JimRising's going to have to respect
Jim turns around.
Oh, he has to. I think.
Well, this gives JYP like another lease on life here.
Yeah, you're right.
That was a good play. Because he's actually going into Disruptors as well, which
Yeah.
can be pretty good against Roach Ravager. Like, you don't see it all that often, but as a comeback mechanic,
Yeah.
it's a really good choice.
Now, the reason I like him coming back, I do agree that that's costly. I don't disagree with that at all. It's just that if there's like a Dark Shrine and 5 DTs get warped in and he's counterattacking, and then all of a sudden these Adepts are chopping down all his mining between the 3 bases, that's a game that he should have won that all of a sudden becomes a loss. So come home, clean it up, get back on your 3-base economy. He's relatively sure that the Protoss doesn't have an expansion, and then get back to work.
Yeah, he should feel all right. Like, he lost 9 drones, but he actually killed the Prism with the 4 Adepts in it. So
Oh, and this army, by the way.
that's pretty solid.
Gonna get caught out.
Oh.
And there's no recall. Yeah, he's just stuck out here to fight. Disruptor shot! Great dodge by JimRising.
Yeah.
He's just gonna walk in now. He's like, okay, looks like your natural's kind of open here.
Oh, good stuff from Jim. No doubt.
GG. Wow. And
All
we do
right.
have a
Going to
series.
game 5.
Whoa. They're following
I was
the
really
script.
afraid after the 2-0, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Final game will be Thunderbird. What do you think about that?
I like Thunderbird so far. There's been some kind of interesting things we've seen on it. Like the special did like some proxy raxes where he sent SCVs to mine out the side after he was done building them. So it's like really hard to stop. Thought that was neat. Ragnarok had a game on here where he was using Nidus to defend bases, which you never see in StarCraft 2, which I thought was cool. It didn't work perfectly, but it was, the idea was there, right? Because you kind of have the minerals blocking stuff, and so the travel distance was long. Yeah. I like the layout of the map. I like the idea of the minerals. I hope it's something we see more of. I
like it too. And they're pretty quick to get through, so you do see some kind of interesting things of like players throwing out 3 or 4 workers and just mining it out so you have that backdoor available to you. As opposed to some maps we had back in Brood War where it's like you could mine them out, but it would take like 4 cycles with like 8 workers. And
yeah.
That was not super viable. Well, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. We go to game 5 here on Thunderbird. This will be the final map in the Caster Showdown. It's looking like JimRising was going to flop over and give JYP his soft underbelly, but all of a sudden, JimRising, like a maraca, or what is it called? What's that thing you shake?
Yeah, maraca.
Maraca?
Yeah, maraca. Yeah.
Got some hard stuff in that soft underbelly, you guys. Okay?
What's that thing you shake? Like a baby.
Yeah, it's a baby. You shake
like a baby?
Just once or twice, though, just to get them going. All right. Get your clapping ready in the chat. We're going to introduce these players. Live audience feel here, guys, tonight, okay? Lower right-hand side. From Mexico. It is not Jim lowering, but JimRising.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, no, that was good. Jim amazing.
The top left-hand side, hailing from South Korea, donning some amazing singing voice and a love for beautiful women. It's the Blue Protoss, JYP1013.
All right.
Thank you, guys. That's that live audience feel. YouTube won't be able to experience this, and I feel bad for them, but you guys here on Twitch, you know what we're talking about. No way. Which cheese does JYP do now, by the way?
I want to see the macro game here. This is, like, is this a good map for Immortal pushes? I don't think it actually is, because you've got both of your bases on, like, kind of a high ground, right, for your 3 bases that you're taking.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a wide ramp you have to walk up, unless you bring stuff to mine out. But that's not reliable, right? For the timing of an Immortal push, like, you could deny that. So I think this is more likely to go to a longer game.
Yeah, we have some mind games here, Dan.
Yeah?
The old fake
was
Pylon.
it fake?
Nothing to do behind it. Jim Rising
That's
didn't
just like our
overreact.
show this week. It's a fake Pylon show.
Oh my god. I love the way your brain works. Beautiful.
Great for branding.
When did that joke start with Sean?
Oh, I don't even know. It's just such a stupid joke.
Another like funny inside
Tasus
joke.
says it all the time, man.
Does he still
Anytime
say it?
it's like anything about day and 9, it's like good for branding. I'm like,
Yep.
oh my god.
Every time that pops up, you guys, every time we're at a gig and anytime the word day is mentioned or something like that, Sean or Nick, and sometimes both, will be like, good for branding. They're joking, but it's so consistent over the years that it's just like crazy. Oh my god. It's gonna get scouted, by the way. Wait, no it's not. Not yet.
Wait a minute.
Middle of the map, Dan.
Yeah, he hasn't seen it.
JYP
That's a good location.
He thinks this is a PvP, though. I feel bad for him. Does he know the matchup?
If he thought it was a PvP, there would not be a Nexus.
Okay, fair enough.
And there would also be another Pylon in the top right with a Twilight Warping. Okay, that's PvP.
Oh god. Oh my god. All right, and the Overlord so far for for Jim Rising on the other side of the map sees the usual stuff. He's like, okay, a couple gateways, Adepts coming out, seems normal.
Yeah. Looks, you see the 2 Adepts. I think you're expecting a Stargate, much more likely. He's actually making a Baneling Nest right now.
And 18
Maybe he
rings.
thinks it's going to be another Adept push or something.
No, Jim Rising's had enough, Dan.
Oh, you're right.
JYP's getting a full NA special in a second here. He's like, if you just make a couple of sentries in a single Immortal, I think Lings can kill that. But there's going to be an Oracle in his base. Oh, it's waiting. Oh my god.
Oh, wow. He's going to go into 2. He's going to kill like every drone and then die to a Baneling bus.
Yeah, he's
That's
super
what's
dead.
going to happen.
JYP is super
actually
dead. He's Pylon block too.
But hold on. If he recalls both the Oracles,
No.
he will hold this. Yeah.
No, Dan, I've been here before, dude.
Dude, 2 Oracles against this?
I've got chicken
He's
blood.
flying
I've got
home.
chicken bones and chicken blood in front of me, and I've seen this before. I know what happens next.
Okay, let's see.
That-
Banelings are being morphed, but the
The
Oracles are
Zealot.
coming back.
Look at the Zealot.
Or is it?
I've seen it.
Oh.
Well, it's dead now. You don't get to see it. Here come the Banelings, and they're going to pop both those shields.
Oh my god.
GG! Oh, that force field, though.
Oh, that force field, Jeff.
But there's no gateways, my brother. Well, there should be no gateways.
Wrecked. Wrecked.
You think this is over? Have you watched a North American
I'm
game?
sorry. I don't play the NA server.
No,
hardly at
yeah,
all.
I do. That's where I live. JYP's gonna die. Watch the energy on the Oracles, by the way. I've been here.
So which one of these guys is running backwards through the cornfield?
They both are right now.
Yeah. Hey, he's out of Oracle energy. Maybe you were right.
Well, he's gonna build pylons and shield batters behind that with sentries. There's 4 Banelings coming. No, it's completely
I don't
over.
think it's... Oh my god, he's making 3 gates in his main.
Jade! What? Do it! Do it! Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
No!
What?
Okay, there it is.
Wait, what? That's a hole? That's a hole there!
That's what JYP's saying.
Oh my god! I thought for sure that was not a hole.
Yeah.
Oh
Alright.
my, and now he loses. Ah!
This is the best show match I've ever seen in my life. I think StarCraft is at peak StarCraft right now, and I'm so happy we did this.
Oh, 9 probes going down because that was a hole. I
Wait,
can't
wait,
even...
wait. JYP's up in workers right now. Hang on.
But is he up in Zerglings?
I actually think
Oh, we
JYP might win from here. I'm not even kidding you.
God, oh my god, the healing on the pylon.
I don't want to believe what I'm about to see, but I think I am.
This truly is the Pylon show. This is the most ridiculous wall I've ever seen.
All right, it's open again. But
You
the force
see
field-
those force fields?
Yeah. And Jim's unrelenting. He's like, I'm just gonna keep going forever.
No, you gotta.
Oh.
It's not like there's a transition from here. He's on 26 drones.
What is happening?
You see this Baneling? Look at this Baneling. Oh my god. Dude, JYP's holding this,
Yeah.
I think. 10 probes. So it's 27 workers to 26.
Oh, some more are dying in the main now.
Oh, look, he's
Another
making
Oracle.
5 drones. He's giving up.
Yeah. Harrison, stop licking your paw. Hey, stop. I can hear you over the show match. It's way too loud. God. Yeah, 3 oracles now. And a phoenix coming out for some reason.
Kill overlords with. Lift up the queen. If he had any oracle energy, this game would be over in the other direction now. I love this wall, though. Just pure pylons.
Well,
he's not messing with stupid gateways or something with real health.
That is insane. Now, Jim Rising should be like, where did these Stargate units come from? That's what these lings should start doing here.
This is the second time this game that he's turned on an oracle that had, like, 1 energy over what you needed to turn it on. He keeps on turning on his oracles when they have, like, 28 energy. It's like it doesn't even shoot. It wants to shoot, but it's like, no, we're out again. Sorry.
Another oracle queued up here. Jim Rising not even looking for the Stargate still. I think that's a bit... The funny thing is when you kill JYP's probes, that's okay, because he wants to have, like, 3 or 4 probes less than full saturation. Because it's JYP. Oh, he's taking a third, though.
Is it time for a real macro game after that?
Jim.
Do you see this? I'm just looking at this pylon wall over and over.
Yeah.
You see that Zella on hold position? Like a stalker can't get out through there. This is the ugliest, worst wall there's ever been.
No, you need to check out Rotterdam stream sometimes. Another oracle dies. I really feel like Jim Rising should be like, oh, that's right, there are Stargate units. Okay, now he's looking for it, lower left-hand side.
This guy's going mass proxy oracle.
Yeah. It's found, finally. Well, yes, okay.
He should just mine out those minerals, I think. Hey, there's that oracle turning on for 1 shot again.
Yeah. Why not, dude?
It's
participating.
It is.
It's got 21 kills,
it's so
by the
helpful.
way. Okay, yeah, the game's gonna settle down here a little bit. Nope, there's roaches coming out. A lot of roaches. No lair. I think Jim Rising knows he's behind and has to just kind of re-all in.
Yeah. There's a lot of sentries, though. I don't feel like he can actually get any sort of attack going.
Ravages, though, maybe.
He's just mining so little gas.
The other thing here, too, is Jim Rising's going to all in as well. Like, he took the third, but it's a fake third. He almost built a 4. He's like, I don't need upgrades. What am I doing?
That's right. We haven't even seen a +1 start for anyone in the series.
Jim started +1 range attack last game.
Oh, did he?
He did.
Damn.
But
What a Gosu macro
to your
god.
point, it's been 1. 1 upgrade. Fast speed, I guess. And this attack's coming out.
He's going to turn on these oracles, and they're going to take between 1 and 0 shots, all of them.
Jim Rising doesn't know, though.
Yeah.
He's building drones, so this attack's about to show up.
Oh, God.
Sees a lot of stalkers back at home, but nothing else. Just gotta know, right? Tell me that's a fake forge. I want to believe it's fake forge. I'd love that so much.
It's for cannons. Don't worry.
Yeah. No, he's gonna let it finish. Never mind.
Okay, JYP gonna walk home. I think that makes sense. It's only 1 immortal.
Yeah. Charge queued up here.
And +1. We're getting a real game.
Wow. Real-ish, I would say. Both players are still like just on the precipice of all-inning, so it's kind of funny. Another oracle dies. How do you look up units lost that control you? Oh.
Maybe shift you?
Shift you? Shift L. 3 oracles. Not as much as I thought. Thank you, Maynard. I like that Jim Rising is incrementally getting drones out, though. Because with JYP threatening to all in at all times, you kind of have to, right? You can't just...
Yeah. But that puts JYP in such a nice spot.
It does.
The fact that he's up on workers after all this.
Yeah. Well, he was, yeah. Now he is again.
+1 melee. Oh, Aspire, okay. I can get on board with that.
And Jim Rising does that a lot.
I like Spire play in this matchup. It's just, you have to choose your spot for it.
Yeah. I like that he's transitioning into it as Jim Rising, too. He's got the +1 melee queued up here, so that'll be great for the counterattacks. with the Mutas. If we can get there. There's 3 Archons queued up and an army moving across.
Ooh, yeah. This army's starting to get pretty damn scary.
But Jim
The
Rising...
3 Archons definitely make it hard for Mutas.
He's looking to counterattack. I like that. And the Archons by themselves. Okay, yeah, the army's going to have to pull back, because the Archons by themselves do not hold off those lanes. But Jim Rising's army, man. I'm not liking it. He's holding up for Mutas. And now he's going to spend the money.
Yeah, he needs to. If this hits before those finish, oh my god.
Lane counterattack to the third, though. It's going to trash that third. So it really comes... Oh my god, the zealot positioning.
There's no way to hold this fourth. He has to pull up the ramp.
And make banelings with all these zealots.
Yeah. The lane counterattack, though, I mean,
It's
that's
great.
doing really well.
It is great. But what good is it if you're dead? Jim! Jim, you can't fight that. No way.
Oh my god. Like, even landing Biles, it doesn't matter. He needed, like, the concave on top of the ramp to hold this.
Zealots are depleting. It is mostly sentries. 11 more roaches coming out. The counterattack was held at the end.
5 fake Colossus!
Oh my god.
No, it's more than that. Oh my god.
Why?
I think that was a diss. He just hallucinated 8 Colossus.
Yeah.
Does he know they don't do damage?
Oh my god, he just danced
I
on
hope
him.
Jim holds now. Come on, Jim.
Here come the drones. Not looking good. JYP up 40 supply. I think he's done it.
I think
hallucinated
so.
Colossus.
The Grandcaster Showdown. Those Colossus totally key. GG.
Da, 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 da. Wow. So in the end...
Did Gem Rising know that those were Haluk?
Yeah, probably not.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe he did. Well, Matt, you can take over the mouse again, but ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We went the distance to Game 5. It was looking like it was going to be a pretty bad show match with Jim Rising having a tough time in those first couple games, but after that, was able to rally back and make it close. I thought the Baneling bust was going to work. JYP re-walled, and here's the key thing. Built the gateways in his main during that. A lot of guys would just kind of like try to make the gateways a part of the wall in. That's certainly where my brain's at. But they would never finish. They would keep dying, and they would keep getting killed, and the short range of the sentries wouldn't be able to defend them. But making them inside his main, having them finish, warping in additional zealots and sentries, I felt like that was a big part of the defense there, and that ultimately won him $150,000. I mean, $150, I'm just kidding.
150,000 won.
There you go.
Yeah, about. A little bit more than that, even. No, it was good. The re-walling, I thought that was hilarious when the wall wasn't tight and the wings just ran into the main. I was certain it was tight. But he had some clutch force fields there. Really good timings on those. Just kept everything just barely out because it really felt like Jim Rising was going to just kill him.
Yeah, a lot of patience, too. That's the thing. Like, the Lings did get in, but he only had a few force fields. And instead of, like, spamming him or missing them, he nailed the force fields. Yes, like 5 or 6 Lings would get in, but a couple of Zealots would chase. The probes would do their battle. And even though he was losing probes, he was always up 5, 6, 7 probes, which in that kind of all-in situation, you could see the lasting effect of that. From that point forward, when the game did kind of settle, Jim Rising wasn't sure where he was at in that game, and he knew that JYP's a timing and cheesy-oriented Protoss, so he never felt comfortable fully droning. Like, we never saw Jim Rising get to 70 or 65 drones or anything like that. It was always low econ, scrappy, and down in the mud, which is where JYP wanted it. And ultimately, that got him the 3-2 victory there.
Yeah. I don't mind the aggressive style for this current meta anyways. Just because everyone is immortal pushing and stuff. So to throw them off and maybe have those extra early units to hold on.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. You know, if you're trying to play like Rogue right now, well, look how early he went out, right? Right now, it's, I think, a hard time for macro Zergs, especially against Korean Protosses.
Yeah. Absolutely agreed. Well, okay. That was pretty quick. So, Matt, do you want us to do questions? Dan, are you down for that? We had some questions.
Please. Let's do it.
I think we can do questions, and then we'll shout out our sponsors, of course, and then we'll call it a show. And it was a quick one. I do want to give some love, I hope we have this prepared, or something like it, but let's give some love to Jim and JYP. They were absolute troopers about this. We've been trying to schedule this for a couple weeks, and there was never really any, like, no, that time's terrible or whatever. They were really cool to work with, and they wanted to play. And it is, I like that Dan gave this color for you guys, but it's nerve-wracking to play in front of an audience. JYP is a former professional player. Jim Rising is a current streamer and professional player and commentator. So anytime you have an audience and you're putting your skills on the line, it's very easy to get nervous about that or feel bad. But both these guys were good sports about it, and it made for some good entertainment for us and some content. So please do head over to Jim Rising's Twitter and JYP's. I think we have Jim's on screen right now. Make sure and follow him or say, hey, good games. Thanks for doing that. Anything like that goes a long ways in making people feel good. And you can see JYP here on screen as well. He's got a Twitter that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense to a lot of you. But even if you message him and just say, hey, thanks a lot for playing. We really appreciate it. He's a StarCraft 2 professional commentator, and he'd love that.
Yeah, and he's actually got very good English skills. I talk to him in English really regularly, so he's always practicing and getting better. Very friendly guy.
Yeah. And then Jim Rising streams. So I would, you guys can check out JYP, of course. He's a GSL commentator, but I don't think he streams that much. So if he does, of course, check it out. But Jim Rising streams all the time. That's his main source of income as far as I'm concerned. So check him out. And like I said, every night he's playing against like M. Canning and Puck, and it's really great games. Not like what we just saw. Not to say that those aren't good games, but you get to see Jim Rising. One of the things he likes to do in a lot of his games is that Muta counterattack, and he's very good with them. It's too bad we didn't get to see the game get that far, but that was what he was setting up for in this last game. Okay. Well, let's get into a couple of questions here, and we'll call it a show. So, Foot42... What's that, Dan?
No, I said let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm excited.
Let's
get those questions going.
Let's do it. Who is the nicest pro gamer, the nicest caster, and the nicest streamer? Says Foot4264. Well, to make this quicker, I think we can say it's not Maynard. I think that's the first thing we do.
That's clear.
So who is it for you, though, Dan, after we kind of cross Maynard off that list?
I'm thinking. Give me 1 second here. So, nicest pro gamer, nicest caster, nicest streamer.
Yeah.
Thing is, most of the pros that I get to speak with on a regular basis in Korea,
they're very nice.
Are just really nice, really friendly people. I mean, I think MC might stand up pretty high. Jaedong, actually, it might be Jaedong that is just straight up the nicest. He has always been unbelievably friendly, and there's like most of the Korean pros are very friendly, and especially the ones that want to talk to you are like MC and like Jaedong. But I might go with him for. I'll do the Korean side of this.
I want to say this is going to sound like a cop out, but I agree with Dan in the sense that like it's weird to say nicest for us because we're friends with a lot of these people, but also like they're all so nice that whenever you pick one person, it kind of sounds like you're somehow slighting others. That's not what's happening. And I think it's an impossible question, but we'll just do our best to say somebody.
Nice just kind of stands out for me in that.
I'm going to give a weird answer because it's true and exactly the opposite at exactly the same time. The nicest, just to say it, I think Todd is equal parts the nicest caster and also the unfriendliest caster at exactly the same time. And it kind of depends. Yeah. So, like, Todd is the guy who will go out and get food, and he is the one, not Maynard, certainly not Pig, basically nobody from Thief Island, Australia. But Todd will message you and be like, hey, I'm getting food. Can I get you something? And you'll be like, wow, that's really nice. Yeah, if you don't mind picking this up. It's like, absolutely. Got to make sure you eat. But then Todd's also the guy that if you sneeze incorrectly, will be like, you fucking slob piece of shit.
Yeah.
Who taught you how to sneeze? And you'll be like, what did you say? He's like, I don't, you're like a pig. And you're like, oh. That's Todd, man. Both in one.
I have so many Todd things like that. He's like one of my favorite people, and it's because he's so genuine in these ways. Like, I think I once talked to him during a game that he was playing and kind of teased him that he was losing.
Yeah.
He was just playing on like the Observer PC or something while we were waiting. He got so angry. Yeah. But at the same time, like a couple of years ago at IM Gyeonggi, I came down with a terrible cold in the middle of the tournament. Like I was in bed with a fever and had to skip one of the casting days. And Todd comes and knocks on my door and brought me some food because he's like, "You got to eat, man. Here you go." I'm like, "Oh my God, you are just—"
He's so good about that.
The kindest as well. So yeah, it's a good answer.
And I just timed. So the guy in the chat is timed out. You can't say I'm not funny in my own stream. Okay, I have to be really funny. So that's why you're timed out. Who else? Nicest pro gamer, a lot of really nice ones. I don't know. Another answer is like stats is actually shockingly nice.
Yeah, he's super nice. He's super nice.
I really like Homestory Cup because you get to learn more about a lot of the pro gamers, and it's always surprising how friendly and nice a lot of the Koreans are at Homestory Cup. It's kind of it could be a scary social moment for them, but a lot of them actually come out of their shell and are just really kind.
Mm.
The stats are super.
I've
cool.
actually had so many good interactions with pro gamers in general. Like I've gotten to have really good conversations and stuff with so many of like even the European pros.
Yeah.
Like the Liquid Boys, Mana and TLO and Euthermal. I've had really great, and me and Euthermal were stuck on a train together for 2 hours once from tour, and had just great conversations. And
Mana
Arson's
is
super
insanely nice.
So
That's,
many. Yeah,
that's
no,
definitely a big.
They're all so friendly, and yeah, there's more than that. It's like I think the Muslim's incredibly nice. I don't know, everyone's nice. Isn't that weird? Is there any jerks?
Yeah.
There must be some jerks.
There's some jerks.
Yeah.
Nicest streamer.
I haven't met a lot of the like Neuro is really nice, and I think Up a Tree Zelda is super nice. Like I've hung out and talked with Neuro a lot more, and obviously everyone can kind of tell he's just a super nice guy. Up a Tree Zelda, like I only met him at one of those, like I think it was the 20-year anniversary, and I sat next to him, I think while we were eating a meal or something, and just struck up a conversation. He was like really cool, and then I talked to him later on. I asked him about some sound issues on my stream and stuff. He was super helpful. He was a very, very nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Again, it is a circle jerk. Yeah, some of the chat's like, this just sounds like everyone's nice.
Well, someone literally asked the question.
Yeah.
So
question is to jerk off several people, which creates a circle. I think we can't have this topic without mentioning Roddy. I think Roddy's one of the nice. What I like about Roddy, and he's a caster, streamer, and former pro gamer, is that he's very like. He's one of those guys that a few times in my life as a streamer and as a commentator and stuff, he'll hit me up and say the hard thing that a friend should tell somebody. He'll be like, hey man, you've seemed kind of angry about this thing. What's going on? Which is uncomfortable for a lot of people, but he'll do that because he cares. And then he'll host people freely and all the time. He will pop into chats and chat and hang out. Kevin is happiness on wheels, absolutely. So he's got to be mentioned in here. He's one of the nicest guys you can. We're so lucky to have him in the StarCraft 2 community. Okay, so thank you for that question, Foot. That's very wholesome and nice. Appreciate that. Creighton Olsen asks, where do you think Blizzard would get the most bang for their buck if they invested a little more in esports? I know you don't have the whole inside scoop, but what is the cheapest thing you think they could do that might make a big splash for StarCraft 2? That all rhymed, by the way. The cheapest thing they could do would be to erect a golden statue of Tasteless, I think, in Krefeld, Germany.
Certainly. And
then get him to go to Home Story Cup. And I believe with Tasteless at Home Story Cup shilling, because like let's just put it this way: Nick came up with the idea for a $1,000 phone call for his podcast. Imagine what he could do on Take's couch asking for money for the next Home Story Cup 20.
Damn,
that'd be amazing. Like they want to do it in Vegas, but with Tasteless there, they could just buy Vegas and then have Home Story Cup 20.
The biggest bang for their buck to invest a little bit more in esports. I think it's a little bit of a tough question, right? Because I guess if you want to grow StarCraft 2 esports more, are you looking for more content? Are you looking for higher quality content? What are we looking for? I think it's hard to define what the right move in a situation like that is. Like, for instance, I mean, some of the things that I think about a lot of the time is like, I wish we had something a little bit more amateur in Korea rather than just GSLs. I think stuff like that can be really good for the scene out here, which is important. You know, the Korean scene is very important. If it fell apart, that would be really a terrible thing. If we don't have more players rising up. Now, how cost efficient is that? Does that actually help it grow, or is that kind of sustaining a piece that's important? I don't know that that would necessarily help with the bottom line on viewership, but would maybe help the scene. So I think that I don't know. It's a very tough one. Like, also, I really like the videos that we've done in the past. I don't know if those are going to be done again this year.
Yeah.
Because it seems like there are some budget cuts. So I doubt that we're going to get the signature series again, but I think that those were really fantastic and important storytelling pieces that I still try to refer to. I think that having a base of work like that is something very important for StarCraft and can help grow it. I don't think that someone watches one of those videos and just instantly becomes a StarCraft fan, but it's like, oh, this is a great supplement that's really important for storytelling.
The viewership was really poor on those videos, actually.
Yeah, it was surprisingly low, but the thing is, everyone's seeing them in the matches as well, right? Which is really improving the production, I think, as well.
But those are people already watching StarCraft.
Yeah, but
these kind of questions I struggle with.
At some point, if you peel things out of a broadcast and make it lower quality, they won't watch StarCraft. So.
Well, look, my point is, I mean, it's not like I'm going to tell you that hurt the broadcast. Of course they help. My point is, like, that didn't have any impact, I don't think. We now have WCS without that, and our viewership's higher. Is that because we don't have the videos? No, it's not.
It is growing right now. It's, well, I mean, StarCraft is in a state of growingness right now, a growth state.
Let's stick with growingness. I like that word.
Yeah, state of growingness. Another thing that actually I thought of a few years ago and tried to mention to people, and no one really cared. It's kind of been something that I've championed in the past. Is I feel like we should do some content on the history of StarCraft. It's like the oldest sport with the by far the richest history, and very few people know any of it. And I think that could be a cool thing to kind of show. It's like something you could be proud of if you're a StarCraft player, that this game's been around for so long and so many cool things have happened.
Yeah, but only if the ethos that it has is like the signature series, where it's like all the sacrifice and regrets they have, and yet they're still there. That's what I want. I want this like memorial video about their childhood being completely dead and given to StarCraft, and then hopefully I can win here. That was so weird. I'm critical. I know, and I'm a Debbie Downer, but my God, so many of those videos end with like, my wrists are giving out and I have no friends, but I'm here to fight. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I kind of like that though. I like stories of sacrifice. I think they're cool.
It's
they kind of motivate.
So cliche with StarCraft though. It's like the only mood we can hit with StarCraft is that these nerds have nothing else but unrelenting training schedules for StarCraft, and they're dead to the world unless they win. And it's like, so weird to me. We have StarCraft players that went off to become world-class poker players. They own businesses, they own companies. They are in reality shows, they crush it. There actually is like a lot of cool diversity there, to your point, which would be cool about StarCraft history. Like, include Guillaume, include Elke.
Oh, yeah.
Do this cool stuff. But every time they're like, no, let's put a video together and talk about how TY is such a pathetic sack of shit that he has nothing else going for him except for maybe this BlizzCon. And then he loses in the round of 16 or 8, and you're like, well, I guess he's just dead then. No, he's back next year. He's still trying. So the next video's got to be like, dude, you're still here? And he's like, yeah, and I'm actually only 22 years old, so it's like not that bad. And they're like, well, that's pretty bad. You look weird. I don't know.
That's pretty.
I always rub me the wrong way. It's like, actually being a StarCraft player is pretty baller. These are some of the like most cool nerds I've ever met in my life, but every video about them's like, so when you first bought Brood War, did you ever go outside or touch a girl ever again? And they're like, no, never have.
Well, I think that everyone has their own story. Maybe that the questions are worded in such a way to get this type of narrative, but also, like, even if you tell your story, Jeff, there is a lot of sacrifice in it, right? With your mom skipping her rent and stuff.
Sure.
There are, and these are kind of touching things, like your love for the game and what you and your family did to make it. So
the full answer here is I don't think you should avoid it entirely. My gripe with the Signature series was they all hit that tone. There was no, this is a great story and this is doing really well. It was all sad and this is like, I'm nothing without this, and then it like just ended. Like even Special was weird with him like walking in the street and he's like, yeah, I'm here. I don't know. It looks like nobody really agrees with me. So that's just me.
Things that people overcame. I don't know. I think that you and I just kind of disagree on this point. I like the stories of what people have overcome and sacrificed to get where they are, because it's like, damn, you really love this and this is really hard, and that's
but specifically,
that's what
I'm saying,
like to celebrate.
I agree, but have all the different tones is what I'm saying. I'm not saying you can't do that one, but when you only do that one, it makes for a weird like they were playing it on loop at BlizzCon. It was just like, and here's the next player, still alone. Only has StarCraft. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Play the hero. Like, he also is a big piece of shit. That's all he's got to start. Like, oh, okay. Anyways, we disagree. It's okay. That'll happen. But Creighton, thanks for the fantastic question. We don't know.
Some good talking.
Shampoo MacTavish asks, pro gamers lose to proxies all the time. Why don't everyone scout for proxies every game? At least the close and obvious locations just outside your base. Wouldn't taking a slightly longer path with your initial scout significantly decrease the possibility of dying outright at a very low cost? I think it's a weird question because you're assuming that pro gamers don't scout for proxies, and they do.
Yeah, it's also difficult because the more you scout for proxies, the proxy meta actually changes and the proxies move. So like, let's say that you scout your both possible third bases, right? And you find a proxy. Well, if everyone starts doing that, the proxies move to the fourth bases. And then if you scout all the way over there, suddenly they didn't proxy and they went for a command center first, right? Because everyone's scouting everywhere on the map and not scouting into the main base.
Yeah.
And those missed minerals are actually more expensive than I think a lot of people realize. You can really feel the difference if you play a ton of StarCraft, like what scouting does. So a lot of times now, what you'll do is you'll scout and you'll skip a lot of those proxy locations because the proxy meta moves around so much and it's so hard to find where these buildings are. And then you'll just look, what don't they have in their base, right? Oh, are they missing a building? Does it look like there's something out there? Okay, now you play generally a little bit more conservatively. Now the question is, do you send your probe or SV or drone out to look for a proxy? Or do you keep it around to see what's built next in the opponent's base? And the thing is, if you actually look at kind of the math and the way that you can continue your build based on those ideas, a lot of the times it's just better to see what's missing and then see what comes next in the main. Because like if for a long time nothing's being built, now you know there's 2 buildings on the map or something like that.
Here's the follow-up question. He's in the chat, Dan. That was really nice. Try to keep this answer under 5 minutes, though. But why don't Joe Pro Gamer just check the couple most obvious locations before the meta switch? They do.
Yeah, no, they do. And that's why the proxy meta moves, right? Like if you look at last year's games where it was like all proxy games, you'll see that the proxies start moving further and further away, and eventually Maru's doing something that's almost not even a proxy because everyone's scouting a huge area. But it's like you can't scout the whole map. The maps are too big. So.
Also, if you check for proxies, which you should sometimes, especially against players in the GSL, and you spend your time scouting for proxies, and then you don't scout their main, you don't get the information that it's either A, they are actually just building their main, or B, they're actually proxying somewhere else. So it's actually a gambit for you as well. And that is the most time humanly possible to spend on a question like that. So Dan, we're going to move on to the next one. Wurzag asks, not really a question, just want to use this week's question as a thank you for the awesome content. It's always nice to hear that you guys are doing fine in control. Congrats, Dad Tosis.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your kind words.
This question's from Jeff's Throbbing Spire. If you could choose an upgrade from StarCraft 2 or Brood War, which would you choose and how would it affect you? Dan, if you could take an upgrade from the game and apply it to yourself, what would you do?
All right. An upgrade. What upgrade? I think Blink is the obvious choice, right?
Is it though?
I think so. Yeah.
Cloak
Blink
from a
would
ghost,
be the
man?
sickest thing to have.
Turn invisible?
Right? Yeah, Cloak is good. I think Blink is still better. I would love to blink everywhere.
Who cares? Have you seen the movie Looper? Come on. Or Jumper?
Yes, Jumper. That's it. I'm like, yeah, I saw Looper. I don't know what that has to do with it. Yeah.
Brown Fox says,
what about Banshee Speed? Does Banshee Speed allow me to fly also? Because otherwise it doesn't make sense that I have it.
Look at you trying to bundle these upgrades together.
Yeah.
If you can't fly, then Banshee Speed doesn't do anything for you, my dude.
Damn. So in the chat saying your motto cannon, I'm like, yeah, I really want to go to prison for destroying something. That sounds like a great upgrade.
I think it's Cloak. I would choose Cloak. The ability to turn invisible would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's all right.
Thank you, though. That's a great question. Tristine, a QSL organizer, says, since 4-player maps seem to be a problem for scoutability purposes, mainly, why not retain some of them in the map pool, but simply ping where your opponent has spawned at the beginning of the game? I don't know.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's a possibility. I think that fixed spawns would make more sense than a ping.
Yeah, I don't know how you spend so much time on these questions. Like, that was only part of the issue. The not knowing where they start is part of it. The imbalance that inherently comes with the map, which is what Dan was about to wind up and spend 5 minutes talking about, is that, like, if you have fixed positions and you're getting pinged for your starting location, why are you on a 4-player map?
I think it's maybe because of layouts, but yeah.
Then just do a 2-player map with big expansions. Like,
there you go, Jeff. Actually, that's the perfect thing.
It's like, let's take a 4-player map, force it to be a 2-player map, and then we fixed it. And it's like, well, then it's not a 4-player map.
Yeah, that's true.
But also, guys, this is like, you're like trying to cure a disease that died out 1,000 years ago. Like, there's no advantage to a 4-player map. There's only disadvantage. And by the time you make it into a decent map, it's a 2-player map.
Yeah.
And if someone mentions islands... Anyone mentions
that's
islands,
fair. I think that's the most coherent thing you've said on the map topic thus far.
Oh my god. You might be true.
What was that thing BCQ was saying? Islands.
Yeah.
Maps,
he really wants islands.
Map pool islands.
Oh my god. Skogler. Food question. Plantains or bananas and why? And Dan, you're a vegetarian, so you are the expert here.
I think bananas. I don't think I've eaten a plantain. Actually, I've had fried plantain, I think. It was pretty tasty, but bananas.
Yeah, it is bananas. But he says, and why? So you got to really...
Because bananas are tasty and easy to eat, and you can buy them everywhere. I don't think I can even get plantains in Korea.
How are you so concise on a question like that? But then someone asks you if you had fake money and you had to fix all of StarCraft, you'd spend 10 minutes talking about... Dan... You beautiful beast.
The closer the questions get to StarCraft, the more I have to say.
Okay, fair enough.
This is actually like, it's pretty obvious. Yeah.
Now you guys know how to orchestrate questions for Dan. Just ask weird questions about StarCraft. He'll go on forever. Nyan, what is the real life equivalent of 1 damage to you? I kind of like that.
Stub toe, maybe?
How much health do you have, though? So what is 1 damage? Like, what are you...
Well, I'm a changeling. I die.
Well, like in StarCraft, there are civilians in the campaign. I think they have like 8 health or something like that, right? Or 10, maybe? Is it 10, Lemon Squeeze?
Maybe.
So 1 damage out of 10. 1/10 of what you can take before you implode, Dan. What is that? It's not a stub toe.
1/10 before I, like, die?
Yeah.
It would be like a broken leg for sure, right?
I think so.
It's not that big a deal, but if I broke 10 legs, I'd definitely be dead. But I don't have 10 legs, so I guess...
Chopped off arm spec? You're a tough cookie, dude. That's just 1/10 of your overall health is your arm being chopped off? What are you, Jason? That's insane. Appendix removed? You guys are way tougher than me. 1/10 of my health? That's like... listening to Dan answer some of these questions, I guess, for me. It's like... I'm just kidding. I don't know. Yeah. A headbutt? Okay, that's closer. Yeah, I think broken leg is pretty good. I mean, if you broke 10 more appendages, limbs that big, you'd die, for the most part.
Yeah, that would be a lot of pain.
Okay, that got dark, but thank you, yeah. Zesty. Amazing discussion last week about how rare a truly new build like the Max Packs is due to the interconnected nature of the game nowadays compared to the late 90s and early 2000s. Does everyone have a fun instance from their playing days of running into something they've never seen before? Dan does, and so do I.
Yeah. No, I've definitely run into plenty of things that I've never seen before. And it becomes more common earlier and lower down the ladders and stuff. I mean, nothing is popping in my brain immediately.
Dude.
The Buki build is always something I bring up.
That is... What show were we doing when you were yelling about that?
I think it might have just been State of the Game.
Yeah.
But there used to be this guy way back at the beginning of StarCraft. It was on the NA server. And his name was like Buki, and he was in a clan or something. Like BUKI, I think it was. Something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I started to say it, and you're like, oh no, I know that guy. I've played that guy. Because he made like one of every unit and attacked you. He was a Terran player, and he called it the Buki build. And he'd like type, like, here's a Buki build, like to get you. And it really caught me off guard because he had like one of everything. So I'm like, how do you counter everything in the game at once. And I'm sitting here with probably like stalkers and zealots or something. It was wild.
That state of the game that was so funny because Dan was like beside himself because he had just lost to him, and like I think we were starting the call and Dan's losing to him. So before the show even goes live, he's yelling about this thing. And then we go live, and of course JP trolls Dan. Is like, all right, Dan, what just happened? And Dan, I just remember, I can hear it still. You're just like, how do you counter everything? And we're like, well, what about this and this? And he's like, no, he's got a Viking. And we're like, okay, yeah, you're right. Pretty good. The other one that Dan's going to know, too, is I was there. I was at Ground Zero when I organically faced the stove back in Brood War. And that was that was probably a very similar feeling where every stage of that build felt so stupid, but all of it coming together, and you're like, oh my god.
So the stove was a scout rush into a DT
into
Arbiter.
Yeah.
And this was a Brood War build. It was, I actually beat it the first time I played it, and I think I lost to it later on, but it beat almost every Terran the first time they saw it because nothing makes sense, because like the turret counters everything. Everything's countered at once, but it's like you just don't expect it all to come. That was a weird build.
Scatsby asked,
and they would yell the stove as the that was part of the build, is as the scouts started to attack, which by the way is the worst unit in StarCraft 1.
Yeah.
They would type in the stove in all caps. That was like part of the build, and if you didn't do it, you weren't doing it right.
Scatsby asked why the stove. It's called the stove. I had this explained to me. I think it was like it's one of those French Canadian Protosses that made this. It's either Smuff or something like that. But I
thought Proct made it, but
they're all the same.
Yeah, they are.
They would tell you that if the stove was hitting you, you were in too heat. It was like it was too hot. You're in trouble. It was every
so
part
stupid.
of this build is the stupidest thing you'll ever encounter. So it's just like, if Dan remembers he beat it the first time, that's good for him. I certainly didn't, but it was one of those weird experiences where like a scout shows up and I'm like, this is so stupid. And then DTs are hitting you. Like, how do you afford DTs? And then the Arbiter shows up. And at that time, it's just, again, it doesn't make any sense, but it worked. And I was so mad. Anyways. PDD asks, we have seen lots of very young, non-Korean players do very well at WCS, like Raynor, Time, Gublin, Clem, and Skillis. However, this doesn't seem to be the case in Korea. Are there any young, aspiring Korean StarCraft 2 pro gamers, and what can be done to promote young Korean StarCraft 2 players to the scene?
Yeah, it's such a tough thing. Like, there are names that you'll see pop up from time to time, like Prince. You know, we had like one guy get in Nightmare, but he kind of switched to Heroes of the Storm. I don't know if he plays anymore.
Not anymore.
There are like some players that you can see that are really high up on the Korean ladder. A lot of them don't even play in the GSL qualifier, maybe because it's so tough. Yeah, to promote the young Korean SC2 players into the scene, I feel like there would need to be kind of some sort of amateurish tournament in StarCraft 2. I kind of talked about that in the previous question, so I won't kill Jeff's soul and
please don't
do 1 damage to him by going over all of it again. But yeah, it's a tough situation for the Korean StarCraft 2 budding players.
Yeah, it is. Dan's the expert on that. I have nothing to add. Crispy asks, what is the best game ever made, and why is it StarCraft Brood War? Yeah?
It's just really well made.
A lot of it's an accent. That's the part that I like a lot. There's like the bugs that they didn't intend were really, really great. Mutamicros, cold lurkers, just all the different compositions and stuff that they had no idea about. Like, if you look at the pamphlet and the Prima guide, they have like 1 Firebat and 3 Marines in a bunker with a missile turret holding off an attack and stuff like that. What ends up happening is like Goliath drops on island maps and Marines and a medic in getting microed, tanks getting dropped, the shuttle faking out the opponent, and then tanks sieging up and killing workers as they try to run. Like Maynard Maynard worker transfer, all that stuff is so amazing. I had no intention of any of that.
Yeah, and I think a big part of why Brood War is such a great game and has the longevity as well is it's very reactive, like the controls I'm talking about. Like, if you move your units, they will move how you want them to move, and there's so much that needs to be done. So there's like a bunch of units that are fast and will move quickly, and you need to do a lot. So the skill ceiling is so impossibly high that you can't find a place of sustained imbalance, because people will be able to get better than that and then beat that. So I think that is probably, and of course, like Jeff said, this is not something that was planned. It's just like, you can always get, we just don't need patches, because it'll just keep evolving, because the skill cap is so infinite.
Yeah. We're lucky. Ivysaur EG says, who is the best Protoss of all time? Stork, Bisu, or Jangbi? Who is the best at PvP, and who would win head-to-head?
Bisu is the best of all time.
Okay.
Who's the best at PvP, and who would win head-to-head? I mean, I don't... Bisu beat Stork in the finals of a of a Star League, so I mean, maybe him. I think you just kind of give Bisu the check marks in most of this. I think the thing is, he's such a PvZ player. I don't think he was the best PvT out of all them. I think Jongbi was. But yeah, best Protoss of all time is absolutely Bisu. You can't give that to anyone else. But it's Jongbi. Okay, listen, hipster. It's not.
Red Gunner Guy asks, are you a cat or dog, or some other pet person? How did you find out you are a cat, dog, other person? Dan and I are dog people, and it's probably because we were both raised with dogs. Right, Dan?
Yeah, I like dogs. The dogs are just great. Cats are like, actually, now that I think about it, there's been a few cats in my life over the years, and some have been quite nice. But the one that I really loved actually just acted exactly like a dog. Like, it came when I called, and it slept in my bed and like played with me and stuff. So I don't know. Dogs are more interactive, and
there you go.
They're fun. You can bring them on walks. Cats are not really, Don't you want to bring your animal outside and like go look at stuff and pee on a tree with it and stuff?
They're making fun of the way you say dogs.
What? Dogs? Do I say dogs funny?
I don't know. Chat thinks so, I guess. And then there's a debate now about whether or not you said that correctly. Anyways. QB Fire. Controversial personalities have always been a double-edged sword of pissing off people and leading to amazing storylines. But it seems they lost their place in StarCraft 2 over time when compared to other esports like fighting games. That was all one sentence, by the way. Do you think there is a place for them in StarCraft 2? Should it be encouraged?
Well, I think that the controversial personalities a lot of times fall off over time, because there's still like a little bit of it here and there, but like over time, StarCraft gets taken over by younger players that haven't had as much time to do that. And also, if the controversial personality is less manufactured and more real, then I think that you might not even have the right mindset to be a champion. So it's hard to stay on top, right? Whereas you look at someone like Cyril, who always GGs and just tries to think of how to get better. It's like, yeah, he's not going to say too much that's controversial, because he just is doing it the right way to become the best player.
Do we think there's a place for them in StarCraft 2? Yes. I don't know what that question's kind of asking, because there just have been a place. We've had our villains, we've had controversial personalities. But also it's a capitalistic market, and some of the most controversial people have had decent followings and viewership. People still bring up Deezer and Combat X, and they haven't played the game in 5 years or whatever it is. And they were only toxic personalities, so there's your proof. Should it be encouraged? Not quite sure what we're getting at with that. Dan said something very important, that is that organic personalities are kind of what has a lasting impact or has like a following. Can't really name somebody that contrives, and I'm not going to say the obvious, like before we start saying Avila, that I think we learned that's not contrived. That was actually how he acts and who he is, and he had a following, but it ended up kind of burning him out, like Dan just said. Naniwa, that's actually Naniwa. Idra, that was Idra. Huck probably played up a little bit, or a lot of it actually, but he was almost not even he like ended up a villain or something, but he wasn't a villain. He was kind of he was the diva. But a controversial personality, to be fair.
Yeah, and you've seen occasionally a little bit of contrived controversy where it would be like the fans really wanted a Korean player, a really nice Korean player, to say like, "Oh, I'm going to get you" or something, in a pregame interview. And then they do it, and everyone cheers, but then it just goes back to normal, right?
Yeah,
because that player may just not be like that.
MC played it up and would be your villain, if you will, and that was contrived, but that was contrived in a fun way. He always liked wrestling, so he was like always emulating that kind of showmanship and stuff like that. But there are examples, but yeah, there's definitely a place, but I think it's important that it's organic. Like if someone just gets some... The other thing, too, is in StarCraft, they respect winning, right? Like for the most part, none of the names mentioned would ever be mentioned if they were Gold League or Platinum. You have to be somewhere in the top, and you have to be respectable skill-wise, otherwise nobody cares. Because there's tons of gold-level players saying all kinds of really mean stuff, but nobody cares. It's only when they get good at the game that people start to care, right? Ravi Parikh asks, when is the next Pylon show, Dan?
Next Thursday. Or Wednesday for
There
you few people that are in America watching or Europe watching.
Thank you very much for your question, Mr. Ravi. Mr. Fear Dragon. Alessander asks, In Control, have you ever been to Korea, and what did you think? Artosis in Control, what is your favorite piece of StarCraft history back in the day? Yeah, I've been to Korea several times. I commentated GSL versus the World 2 years ago, and I've been there to hang out with my buddy Dan here, and almost qualified for GSL, and I went during Brood War for a tournament. It's great. Love Korea. Korea's amazing.
Quite a few times.
Your favorite piece of StarCraft history?
I mean, there's so many really good ones. It's kind of an open question, but I think maybe one of my favorite little kind of story things would be the rise of I Love Uv, and just kind of the way it was. So basically, I Love Uv was one of the Bonjois in Brood War, and he's like a big guy and just a monster of Terran, just a macro Terran. And apparently how it went was he played, like before he was a pro, there was all the pro leagues going on and stuff. He played every race and beat all the pros with all the races and all the matchups. Like he was simply better than everyone, but he was always bad manner and arrogant because he knew he was better. And so the pro teams didn't really pick him up. No one wanted him. And eventually Boxer took him. And I think that says so much about both of them, and kind of the way the scene was. It's just everything about I Love Uv is just a fascinating, such a cool story, I think.
Yeah. I don't know that I have a favorite. There's too much. So at worst, I can't answer your question. At best, I would tell you one of my favorites is just like various different things. I've always said this, but I think the story of how Nick and Dan became commentators in Korea has not been done justice. There's like a really terrible documentary about it that barely even scrapes the surface. Nick and Dan have told this story, but unless it's like the two of them sitting there for 6 hours telling the whole thing, I don't think that does it justice either. And I'm not even saying this because Dan's right here and I'm blowing smoke up his ass. It's actually an incredible story, and it encompasses everything StarCraft that I love, which is like passion about something that you care so much about that you just make it happen, work ethic, and a little bit of luck, and then community, and thriving too. That's the other part of StarCraft that people don't talk a whole lot about. Like, everyone sucks for a very long time. You have to suck at StarCraft to get to a place where you don't. And they slept on floors, ate shitty food, borrowed, begged. They did everything, and then became the commentators that we joke about being too expensive to hire. So it's like, it's a great, great story, and hopefully someday it'll get documented better. Yeah.
Possibly. I'll write an autobiography at the end.
Nah, it can't be you. It's got to be a good writer. We'll find somebody. Just kidding. T-Quick Brown Fox asks, in late 2017, early 2018, we had a bunch of laid-back events, like the StarCraft 20 event, the StarCraft Holiday Bash, Zotac Cup, etc. They all got overwhelmingly positive feedback and great viewership, yet we haven't seen any more of the events. How do we go about making more of these events happen? So I'm going to cut Dan off. We get asked this kind of often, and I appreciate that you do. We love it. We give kind of the same spiel each time, so this is not a bad question. I'm not mad at you. I'm not going to make you feel bad, but I do want to say it gets to a weird point where we kind of keep answering this, and that is that we loved it. We formed a group. We tried to make more happen. Blizzard wasn't on it. And we've like said, yeah, if the community wants to raise like $100,000, we could probably put on another one, or 50 or something crazy like that. But we're not about to like put our careers aside and try to make that happen. So that's where it's at. And it's kind of like the year people ask, like, is StarCraft actually dead? At a certain point, when we keep answering it, it comes off defensive or weird, and we have to kind of start being like, we're not going to talk more about that. So I apologize. Thank you for your question, but that is the answer that we keep giving. GGMany asks, Artosis, if you could choose among all the multiple subjects in existence to study to obtain a full college education, which would you choose and why?
I mean, I think I would probably choose glaciology. I talked about it before. That's kind of another thing I'm super interested in. It's been a long time since I've really been as interested in that because I've been so busy with my main career. Nowadays, I'm kind of more interested in sports psychology and game theory and stuff like that. So those are the things that I spend more time reading about now than in the old days before I came to Korea, when it was really, I was very much into glaciology and considering that as a career.
Wait,
So
you're being serious? You
of
actually
those.
would have done a career of glaciology?
Yeah, no, it was either going to be pro gaming or glaciology. Like I was very interested. I was looking at schools to apply to and stuff. And
Dodged a bullet.
I find it super interesting.
They're melting, bro. You wouldn't have a career in a few years.
Well. They just be spamming the dead glaciers memes, you know?
Oh my god. Anyways, thank you for your questions. Thank you for your patience with my trolley self. Oh no, sorry, we got one more. So we have an essay that was written here. Did Zesty commit one before? Let me see this here.
This is part 2.
This is chapter 2.
All right, he's killing it.
Okay, guys. So if you become a bigger supporter of our Patreon, or you already are, you can write up an essay, and I will read it, no matter what it is. So if you're tired of me cutting off Dan and being glib with your questions, you can bury me in money. I will have to read this. And I will now begin to read it. Zesty starts with, editor's note, I'm keeping this PG-13. So boys, hands on the keyboard, please. Chapter 2. The United Earth Directorate's ruling council knew that this time they could not fail. They had leveraged all of humanity's resources to build the greatest fleet ever seen in space, combining the technological superiority found in Protoss weaponry, warp fields, and telekinesis with the bioengineering extracted from Zerg's study, has led to a combat-ready force designed to counter all weaknesses of the previous foray into the Koprulu sector. The ruling council knew that no matter the technological or numerical superiority that they would wield in the upcoming conflict, they would all be for naught if they didn't have exemplary admirals to lead the force. As a commander and then captain, Robinson had quelled numerous rebellions on outlying colonies utilizing Terran Protoss hybrid cruisers, constantly innovating with dazzling displays of tactical mastery, even with limited field testing of the warships. There was no new technology that he couldn't squeeze out 110% performance. Sorry. I don't know. I'm losing the ability to read. And his ferocity at the helm of a single ships and fleets alike never failed to bring victory. Stemkowski was particularly adept at analyzing large-scale battlefield scenarios and tactics swiftly and decisively. His in-depth recall of every combat scenario he had practiced led him to outmaneuver even the most complicated of engagements against superior foes. Stemkowski was loved by his subordinates, as he knew and would vocalize how every person and piece of equipment was pivotal to overall success of their missions. Is that a joke about how he answers questions? The complementary strengths of the two admirals led the ruling council to make a novel decision. The largest force assembled in human history would be co-commanded, a delicate balancing act that relied upon mutual respect and delegation of duties between their two most decorated officers. To be continued next week. Can I ask, where's the PG-13? Why is this PG-13?
It'll get there.
Is it getting there?
I got to say something about these stories that he's writing right now.
Yeah.
It rolls pretty well. It's like, oh, Captain Robinson, this and that, and then it gets down to Simkoski, and I'm like, that's not a name you'd ever see in a book in one of these stories.
I'm gonna rally to your defense against yourself. I think Simkoski sounds like a pretty. It's not the hotshot pilot, granted. Okay, they don't go like, oh, that's old Dan Simkoski, and he comes over with like Avatar and like, what's up, babe? It's like not like it's definitely the gnarled old admiral that's seen a few things, you know.
Okay, that's what I want.
Well, that's what I hear when I see
I like it. The largest force assembled would be co-commanded, a delicate balancing act that relied upon Cobra doing most everything and Artosis showing up at the last minute. That's how I would change that.
I hope that's the twist at the end, is that the ship is actually just Mr. Matt, like just floating through space, and we're inside of him, and like
he's got his two monkey puppets.
Yeah, he's got to like twerk his nipples to speed up and slow down. He's like, oh my god, it gets really weird. That'd be cool. But thank you, and thank you to everyone, of course, for writing those questions. Even if you've been belittled or teased by Jeff, know that Dan is out there taking your question very serious and answering it. And that's the balance we walk. That's what we do, and that's why we're a team that works. If it was just the Jeff show, it would be me making fun of people, and that would just be my stream. So I wouldn't do actually anything in particular. I need Dan
and
here.
If it was just the Dan show, it would never happen, or it would just be angry brood war. So.
Which is also great, by the way, Dan streams. But let's get to that now. Well, actually, after this. So, again, thank you all so much. We are wrapping up the show. A huge shout-out to Jim Rising and to JYP. JYP popped in the chat and said thank you very much. He's a great guy. I lived with him for a while. I've traveled with him. He's just a wonderful person. And it's cool seeing that he's a big, successful career caster in Korea. So thank you to him. And then Jim Rising, like I said, absolute... I heard nothing bad from Matt, who scheduled this out, and just seems like a great guy to work with and does a lot of different stuff. So hopefully you'll check out his stream and tell him that you appreciate that he participated in this, because I think it's really cool that people give us their time like that and do that. We'll be back next week with a normal show. I'll put this out there. We're going to try to get Roddy on. Roddy's currently in LA. He'll be here until well into next month. So we'll try to have him on maybe a couple of times, because that would be really fun, but also it's a good time for him, as opposed to when he shows up. I'm getting a message from Matt here. And Matt...
What was
I
that?
want to film sometime. So Matt, Matt, this is more making fun of me than you. I hope you... Okay, so Roddy said yes. We'll have him on next week. Anyways, Matt opened up the search menu to type in he said yes, and he started writing he said yes, and it brought up like a weird search of a woman in a fur bikini or something like that. And I swear to God, that's not on my computer. So I don't know where this picture came from. I don't know why. And I don't know why it would say he said. No, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I don't know. Matt says the internet, but that's, I don't know. Like, internet search from Cortana. You guys, dude, Cortana. One of these days, I'm going to have the cat's head cam so you can see when Matt tries. And in Matt's defense, he's typing on one computer through mine, but it's like, the Arab, ... delete, there is Korbabaga, ... delete. And I'm like, like, I can't. Anyways. Wait, what? Some keys don't go through? Oh, yeah, he's explaining what happens to him. Matt's wonderful. I'm just teasing. It's all Jeff. Jeff's a dick. Just hate me. Anyways, we'll have Roddy on. We'll figure out the other guests, and we'll talk about everything that's happened in StarCraft. There's a lot of stuff ramping up. It'll be great. Thank you all for your just watching. Let's go through the sponsors real quick. Again, there is no code for Match Torino this week. You are free. You are off the hook. But if you want to buy some merchandise, do check it out. And then next week we'll have that code for you guys. And as always, just do check that out if you're on YouTube. A lot of you guys hit us up and let us know when the code maxes out and all that stuff. Thank you. Thank you all so much. It actually does matter. It does not cost you anything, but it does take some of your time and some of your clicks. And we appreciate that you guys do that. And ask that you continue on to eternity, into perpetuity. And then a lot of you are sending pictures of us of your dogs and people wearing our stuff, and that's really cool, so thank you. Also, shout out to AFKT, of course. This is Lycan's project that Dan's been drinking and some others have, and it's just nice partnering with people from StarCraft World and doing stuff with them, so thank you. And if you drink tea, please do check them out. It seems to be good stuff. And last but not least, again, another shout out to the people that support us on Patreon. That number continues to grow. And we love you guys. Really, really do appreciate it. Some of you go absolutely ham and like support us at these gigantic tiers that we do not take lightly. That's really cool. But even if you are a $1 or $2 or $5, that all adds up and that all matters a lot. It's not easy to ask people to pay for content they could consume for free. And a lot of times people are just like, well, somebody else will do it, I'm sure, so I don't need to worry about it. But please know to us it really matters. If people didn't support the show, we wouldn't do it. And that's not a threat or something weird. It's more of a just like, Dan's got 3 kids going on 4, you guys. So if you think he's got like a lot of free time to be doing stuff, he doesn't. So we do this because we love it, but we also do it because people are going to support it. I have a lot of free time. I'm obsessed with models that I don't need. I get to work out whenever I want, and I just choose to do this with part of that free time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like...
Damn.
There's a longer joke. I was gonna... Listen, I've done too many dick jokes. Anyways. Thank you all. Yeah, I do need more models, though. I'm buying more Terrian pretty soon. It's pretty cool. And then, last but not least, I want to shout out to our team that makes this all possible. This team is awesome. I love getting to know these people and working with them. And I will just say, this is something that I haven't said every week, but like, it's been a year and we're moving into a half pretty soon. It's 5 months in, we're going into 6. It's been about a year and a half of working with these guys, and the team's only grown. People have only gotten better at it, and there has been little to no drama at all, and it's just a loving, talented group of people that support our content, and that means a lot to Dan and I. Dan was alluding to this earlier, but I'll throw myself under that bus as well. If Dan and I didn't have people helping us make a show, there'd be no show. Because we're actually idiots with this kind of stuff. Like, we can talk. Yeah. We've been around StarCraft. But if you think we can upload videos and... I mean, you saw me hosting a lobby, for God's sakes, guys. Try to imagine the show being constructed. It just wouldn't happen. So thank you to those guys. And then recently, Matt and team have made a Facebook page. This is another place where if you're more of a Facebook type of person, you can check it out, and... I think it's not on screen, Matt. A lot of the content that we make will go there, continue the conversation, all that kind of stuff. So if that's something that is up your alley, please do check it out. With that being said, Dan, what are you up to? Yo. When are you streaming? What's going on?
Okay, so we got KSL finishing up the KSL season pretty quickly here. We got a round of 4 tonight and tomorrow night, both PvPs, then a PvP final next Saturday. GSL, we're in the round of 16 halfway through, so that's Wednesdays and Saturdays. After those seasons finish up, we'll be getting into ASL and another GSL season. So awesome. StarCraft just doesn't stop. My stream has been just a little bit spotty lately, but I'm kind of like doing a lot of stuff right now. I'm prepping for the future with another baby coming and everything.
Yeah.
So this will get stabilized again very soon. I know I've said that a couple times, but I'm... You know, it's a busy time of the year right now with everything going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be on my stream tomorrow, or no, actually tomorrow I won't be because we have a doctor appointment. That's what happens.
That's really cool though.
Yeah. That's about it though. My stream, I promise, will be very, very regular, very soon.
Well, thank you, Dan. I'll read this out. JYP's in the chat. Thank you so much, JYP. He says, "It's been the last time in 6 years since my retirement to participate in a show match like this. I was very thrilled and nervous simultaneously to play in such a match. And it's been too long to feel the sweetness of victory just like the old days of when I used to be a pro. Thanks to Artosis and In Control for hosting such a great show match." Much love, JYP. Yeah. Thank you, my dude. And Dan was talking about this too, but like we've had a few opportunities to play in like Todd's caster tournament or... like the question asked of, you know, SC20 and stuff like that when I took 2nd place. It's cool, man. We don't have a lot of opportunities to play in competition, but playing in front of an audience, playing for a little bit of money, and playing against somebody that also wants to beat you in a show match like that, it is a thrill. It is really fun. And thank you to you guys for supporting us and allowing us to do that, but it's cool seeing JYP appreciate and enjoy that, and there'll be more. I think we'll do more of that kind of stuff. It seems like that was fun. For me personally, I'm streaming daily. I've actually carved out a few weeks here of being home in a row, which has been really nice. I've been resting and attending Warhammer tournaments and stuff like that, which is really cool for me. I'm in Control TV on Twitch and everything. And as my boy Matt is showing here, I also do a talk show with the lovely That Bronze Girl, where we talk about everything. It's not a gaming show. It's about like life and relationships and all kinds of crazy stuff. But it's all up on my YouTube, In Control TV, and it might make for good background noise and stuff like that if you want to check it out. And also, just as a special call out, if you don't, please make sure and click the follow button for Dan and I on our Twitters and stuff like that. Like, we always want to grow our social medias. It's been years of us grinding out that social media stuff, so we don't like talk about it very often, but it means a lot. Like, if you are on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube, make sure and do the little extra click, because for us content producers, that can be the difference between getting a job and not. So yeah, thank you guys. That does it for this show. We will be back next week, apparently with Rotterdam. We'll try to find some other guests, and we'll talk about all things StarCraft. You guys have a wonderful Wednesday night, or Thursday if you're in Korea, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye, everybody.